All right, Terry Bennett now joined by my sideline to sideline co-host Grant Goodwin. And before we get into the game, let's kind of just talk this whole week as for 2A, 3A, and 4A. You know, last year it was kind of I don't want to say it was a humdrum, but there wasn't a lot of exciting matchups. This year, I feel it's exactly the opposite. I feel like almost every game you can at least make a case for both teams, and at least every class has at least one game that will probably be a one possession game.
Yeah, I think all the teams here in 2A are so physical, right? So I think the physicality is going to say something. There's also a lot of athleticism in the skill position areas on the in these teams. So yeah, I think these games are going to be very close.
When you look at the 2024 season, and I've always, and you and I've talked about this before many times on the air and off the air, you know, you have the season and then you have the playoffs and state championship, and state championship's kind of detached from the rest of everything. So just looking at the totality of the season, what is your overriding thoughts for 2A through 4A for 2024?
Um, I think the favorites did pretty well. A lot of times, the favorites are knocked out early in the playoffs. Some of them don't even make the playoffs. So I think we had pretty even seeding throughout the year, right? You had some teams that maybe weren't as good as what you thought they were. You had some teams like saying two a Sunray. We kind of expected Sunray to be there, and they're not. Post knocked them off, and then a very good Stanford team came up and knocked off Post. So there were teams like that, right? But not a lot of them. Carthage is there. We expected them to be there. Columbus is there in 4A. We expected them to be there. Malakoff is there. We expected them to be there.
Munster.
Yeah, well, Munster to me was a region to semifinal favorite. I was still, they were so young last year. They're
Yeah.
still young this year. I wasn't 100% sure that they would actually make it all the way to Arlington with the youth that they had. But here they are. Now they get to play a very talented Shiner team who's very physical. And that was a Shiner team as well, though, that was very young, that we thought was a semifinal type team that we weren't sure that would be there. And here they both are. So, yeah.
I think for 2A through 4A, and honestly for all of the high school state championship playoffs, it's weird because it's a year of transition. Because like in 4A, we're getting new state champions no matter what. In fact, we've got four teams that didn't play for the state championship last year, but these aren't new names. I mean, it's Salina, it's Kilgore, it's Carthage, and La Vega. In 3A, you've got Malakoff, Columbus, and Gunter. They've all been there. I mean, Malakoff and Gunter's both been there, but Columbus, first time. Woodville, first time. Munster has been there, but it's been since, 2017. Shiner's been there, but it's been, since 2021. And the same thing, Ganado, their first time. Stanford's an old hat, but it's been, 10 years since they've been there. So it's weird. It's like a transitional year, but it's just transitioning back to old powers. It's not like outside of, again, like Columbus and Woodville, it's nobody new that's in the state championship games.
But yeah, you don't have Anthony versus, I don't know, Huntington, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad, but we do have new blood, right? And if you want to extend this, let's go into 6A and 5A. 6A, the traditional powers, as in North Shore and Duncanville, they're out, right?
Yep.
In 5A, Alito's out. So, it's a lot of that, and I think that's good for the sport, though. I think that's good for our game and our brand in Texas high school football. When you have the traditional powers, sometimes not make it, and you got some new blood, like Richmond and Randall or whatever it is, right? And
Yeah.
5A. So I like it, man. I like all the matchups that we're going to see this state championship weekend.
What do you think will, between 2A and 4A, what do you think will be the best game?
Well, the elephant in the room right now, and I think everybody will agree, is Columbus and Malakoff.
Yep.
That right there is going to be it's going to be a war, right? You got the athleticism of Columbus and Adam Schobel at quarterback and Grayson Rigdon at running back, who has been unstoppable. We've seen him for the last 2 weeks just carrying the load for Columbus at times. And then the pure physicalness of Malakoff with Mike Jones and that Malakoff defense. I think that will be one of the best games. And then I also think Salina Kilgore will be really good.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to say people are sleeping on Salina Kilgore, but everybody, including
that's going to be a darn good game.
And I think Malakoff and Columbus and Salina and Kilgore are going to be two of those games where it's going to be like two heavyweights that don't know how to dodge. They're just going to get in the middle of the ring and they're just going to start swinging. I think La Vega versus Carthage could actually be that way. And I'm not going to say that, I think La Vega is going to upset Carthage, but we do know, and I know it's all the way back early in the season, but we saw how Kilgore at times was very physical with Carthage, and La Vega with their running back, I think there can be just as physical. And I will say this, of course there's going to be a couple games that are blowouts, and the Carthage-La Vega one could be, but I do not think there's going to be many blowouts between 4A and 2A this year. I don't really think there's going to be a lot of blowouts through the state championship week at all.
Well, we think that. But it never ends up being that. Every year we sit here, right? The week of, and we have 50% of the games are blowouts for whatever reason, right? So I'm not going to take that out of the stock. I think that might happen, but you're going to have at least one game out of each division be close instead of two blowouts for every 3 games.
Be just an amazing state championship game. Whoa, what's going on?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, playoff 3, man, Merry Christmas, happy state championship week. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, but I'll tell you, the reason I just popped on here real quick is I realized you left me out of the conversation last week. I got no airtime last week.
I apologize. We actually got a couple messages on a couple of the message boards that, we're on and we promote the show, asking what happened to Playoff Tree and everything. And I just said that, you went to visit your saplings.
Well, you say that, and look, I think we all know what's kind of going on here. We all think the beef is between me and Coach X, but really, I think it's between you and I, Terry.
Wait, we don't have any beef. You sit in my studio 24/7. I keep you lit. I keep you happy. I keep Lazy Dog kettle corn around you. How could you be unhappy with me?
Well, that kettle corn's probably pretty good. It's hard for a tree to eat. How do you feed popcorn to a tree? But I digress. I think the problem is here, you found out a few secrets between you and I and your ex-wife.
Wait, which ex-wife and what secrets?
Your first ex-wife, right? Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
This is serious stuff. I think your daughter is probably my daughter.
Wait, what?
Let me play this out for you, Terry. So
Okay.
back when you were living in Rush, Texas, your daughter, your ex-wife contacted me on Facebook. Actually, it was MySpace back then.
It was
convinced me to come back from Woodville up to Russ to have a few drinks. I did. A few things happened, and boom. Let me ask you this, Terry. What's your oldest daughter's name?
Oh, my only daughter's name is Timber.
Right. Timber!
Wow, dude. So wait a minute. So are you trying to tell me, because, to pull back the curtain, we're recording these and I'm recording with Coach X tomorrow. So you and Coach X, y'all have buried the hatchet. Y'all are perfectly fine now. Y'all are buddies. Y'all are going to have fun at the Christmas party Saturday night.
No, not necessarily. He's got a daughter coming up he didn't know about. They're going to name Cypress. And not the terrorist organization.
Oh, wait. Wow, dude. Well, hey, wait. Why I have you here? I know where you're rooting. Who you're rooting for this week, and you
Woodville
got to
all
be
the way.
exactly. How happy are you to see Woodville make it?
Oh, I am so happy, Terry. I played, I was a nose guard for a while there. I could find a jersey to fit me. We weren't very good, but man, nobody could run up front against us. Now, gap control was not my thing. I was just right over the center. Couldn't go left or right, but man, you want to go up. And I'll tell you, I'm trying to get Woodville, the you know, I'm trying to get them to let me go on to the charter bus with them up to Arlington. It's a long way from Woodville to Arlington. I didn't want to drive myself, mainly because, there's not a car tree, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm trying to get in on the fan charter bus that the Booster Club is renting. And I still might have a chance. I said if 42 people back out, they can fit me in.
Well, I do want to point
There's
this
only
out.
been one person out of 42 back out. So I don't know, but maybe if I could get a GoFundMe and some people could put together like a lumber, when you're down in Lufkin, you see all the timber trucks. Maybe if they could rent one of those out for me, lay me up on top. I don't know where
So
I'd
you
sit
want
in the stadium, but
you want to go fund lumber site for
oh
you?
yeah, for sure. I got wood.com.
So wow. So we had a Woodville fan. You I was going to email us. We'd appreciate it if you don't have playoff tree on anymore. But we had a fan, Scott from Woodville, said, "Hey, we appreciate the support from playoff tree, but we do want to point out that we're partly named Woodville because we're known for cutting trees down and processing them. So does that worry you in any way? Do you feel like you're letting your other tree brethren down with your Christmas tree privilege that you have?"
No, not at all. That's the world and the tree world, right? Basically, only the strong survive. So they cut down basically the ones that are not genetically engineered and more like Terminator type, such as myself. I've been here a long time. I'm not going anywhere except for hopefully Arlington on what day is that? Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, playoff trees don't really have a sense of
Well,
time, do you?
my calendar, yeah, it's made out of wood and therefore it degrades over time and it degraded. So, yes.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us and happy state championship week and Merry Christmas to
Thank
you.
you. Go Woodville.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Playoff Tree. And let's go ahead and get into Playoff Tree's favorite team. We've got the 3A Division II state championship, two-time defending, trying to make it three-time defending state champ Gunter, 13-2 versus Woodville, 13-2. We said this a few weeks ago. You and I we were at the Honeygrove game, and we were talking with Jimmy and Kevin and a former player for Omaha, Paul Pewitt. I cannot remember his name. And we were kind of wondering, okay, who is the team left at that point, which was the region semifinal? Who was the team left that could challenge Gunter, who could at least make it a game with Gunter? And we all kind of came away with, well, we think it's going to be Woodville. And lo and behold, here we are, Woodville versus Gunter. I still don't know, man. I want to say that this is going to be a close game, and I do think that this is the best chance that somebody has had to beat Gunter. But I don't know, man. Until somebody beats Gunter at the 3A Division II level, it's hard to go against them.
Yeah, real quick before I get into this part of the game, want to give my condolences to Jimmy Wilkerson from Omaha, Paul Pewitt. Speaking of Jimmy Waits, our buddy, Wilkerson passed away, was it last Saturday at the age of 45? He was an integral part of those Omaha Paul Pewitt state championship teams back in the 2000s. Played for like the Bears and the Chiefs, I believe. He played for several really good teams and just unexpectedly passed away. So.
Was a really good player at Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, that's right.
He
Yeah.
might have had 4 sacks against Texas in a game. We don't like to talk about that.
But yeah, passed away at 45, man.
I saw that I saw it, like the day after, and I had a couple of dealings with him in small things with Mount Pleasant back in the day, and he was always super, super nice, and it's just sad. And our condolences go to
him and his family.
Yes, and the Paul Pewitt football family as well. All right, so let's get into the game. What do you think?
Oh, man, this is a doozy here because that Woodville defense is very physical. And what is Gunter's defense? Very physical. Woodville's defense is bigger. Gunter's defense is smaller but quicker. And that's where Gunter defensively makes her hay, is the quickness of their defense and their reads. They're reading the guard, and you're linebacker over here is reading the guard. He's there before the guard even gets to where the read was. And that's the problem on trying to beat a Gunter defense. You got to outquick them, and I don't know how you outquick them.
Well, and you're going to have to figure out how to limit Major Thornhill being in the backfield. And this is a different Woodville team than we're used to. This isn't a power
physical Woodville.
They're physical, but they're not a power run team anymore. They're going to throw the ball. Woodville throws the ball. They have a really good
throw the ball, but you look at them defensively, and they're very.
I know, but I'm just talking about the offensive side. I'm talking about going against Thornhill, the defensive end for Gunter. He's one of the few guys that you would say has size, and he's not even that. I mean, he's tall. He's 6'3", but he's not 240. He's 210, but he uses that quickness off the edge. And on the year, he's had 10 sacks, 19 tackles for loss. I read somewhere else that he had like 62 quarterback pressures on the year. And we're talking about a guy that, didn't play a lot of second halves, even in their losses because of who they played in their losses. That he didn't have a lot of second halves, and he didn't have a lot of deep snaps, and so they're going to have to figure that out, and then they're going to have to stop now switching over to Gunter's offense. They're going to have to stop that offense. And no, it's not as dynamic as it was last year, but Preston Tarpley has stepped in at quarterback, and he's done a darn good job. He's thrown for 2,300.
They got like 2 quarterbacks, right? So Gunter's going with 2 quarterbacks with Tarpley, and all of a sudden I can't remember the other guy's name. But they're going with 2 quarterbacks, and both are very productive.
Okay, well, Tarpley's he's got 2,200 yards and 30 touchdowns. Here's the great thing about Tarpley. He's
a kicker.
I was about to say, He's also the kicker. He's also the punter. He's only missed 2 extra points and 1 field goal on the year. For Woodville offensively, it's Luke Babin. I mean, this is a dude. He's kind of reminds me of where Matt Schobel was when he was a sophomore, and Luke Babin's a sophomore too. He's big, and he's already getting looks from D1 schools like Baylor, Houston, Texas Tech, UTSA. And like I said, it's a little bit different Woodville team than we're always used to because they're happy. If Woodville throws it 30 times, they're happy to throw it 30 times. And I am interested to see if they can keep the pressure off Babin. I think that they can use their speed to hurt Gunter's defense.
Well, this is the one game where I don't think the quickness upfield from the Gunter defense is going to really kill Woodville because I think they're so quick on the edges. Flip screens, type things, right, where the ball's out before pressure even gets there. Now, they got to, I guess, the Woodville offensive line has to limit some of the penetration, right?
Yeah.
But as long as they can get a chip, right, slow everybody down, I think that Woodville offense can go. But this Woodville offense has to play perfectly up front. All the offensive linemen have to be on key, and the slot receivers have to block for those slip screens to go. I think this is the best chance. If anybody's going to knock off Gunter, this is the best chance because Woodville can match them on both sides of the ball up front. Now, is Woodville equipped for the quickness of Gunter? Because Gunter's made hay for years off of being quicker than you on both sides of the ball in the trenches. Can they match that? I think they can, but they're going to have to play a perfect game, stay ahead of the chains, and no penalties. no turnovers. And if they do that, I think they have a chance.
Well, you bring up the no penalties and the no turnovers. This, I do think, matters. Again, this is Gunter going for their third state championship. This is what, their fourth in 5 years, because they lost to Franklin before they hit this 3 straight run.
Right.
They've won 4 state championships all within the last 10 years. This is Woodville's first time ever being this far, and you and I talk about
a lot.
Well, go back to Stephenville versus Austin LBJ 4 years ago. And LBJ, you could see, blinked early, and they never could recover. And they almost made it a game again, but Stephenville never allowed it. And all it took was about 8 minutes of gameplay where LBJ's offense just imploded on itself, and you could see it. I was watching it in the studio doing these shows. You could see it in their eyes. The moment was just too big for them. Woodville's got to avoid that. It's that first 10 minutes of the game for Woodville. If it's still a 1-possession game and they're on even keel, then I think they have a chance for an upset. If Gunter's up 14-0, I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout, because I think Woodville's too explosive on offense, but I do think it's going to be Gunter winning state. I will go with the upset. I'm going to say Woodville wins in what I think will be a surprisingly higher scoring game than what people think. I like Woodville to upset Gunter 42-40.
Well, so I've got it different than you. I think Woodville could win this game and upset Gunter, and I think they very might well be the upset pick here. If that happens, it's going to be because of the Woodville defense. That Woodville defense has to keep Gunter in medium to long range third down situations. Their defense has proven that they can do that all year long. Look at their scores all year for 15 games. They've kept people from out of the end zone for the most part. If they can do that against Gunter and keep Gunter from scoring more than 2 or 3 touchdowns, this has got to be a low-scoring game, I think, for Woodville to win. I think they do, but that Woodville defense has to show up and has to show out and keep Gunter under 21 points. I think Gunter wins this game, though. They score over 21 points. It's going to be like 31, 21, 24. 25, something like that. But I think the biggest play in this is Woodville's defense will dictate the outcome of this game. If they can hold up and keep Gunter under 21 points or less, they win. If it's more, they lose.
I do want to point out.
I got Gunter.
And I do want to point out, and you and I have talked about this all year, and I always love when things that we talk about through the year actually happen. And we keep saying that when you're then I think they have a chance for an upset. If Gunter's up 14-0, I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout, because I think Woodville's too explosive on offense, but I do think it's going to be Gunter winning state. I will go with the upset. I'm going to say Woodville wins in what I think will be a surprisingly higher scoring game than what people think. I like Woodville to upset Gunter 42-40.
Well, so I've got it different than you. I think Woodville could win this game and upset Gunter, and I think they very might well be the upset pick here. If that happens, it's going to be because of the Woodville defense. That Woodville defense has to keep Gunter in medium to long range third down situations. Their defense has proven that they can do that all year long. Look at their scores all year for 15 games. They've kept people from out of the end zone for the most part. If they can do that against Gunter and keep Gunter from scoring more than 2 or 3 touchdowns, this has got to be a low-scoring game, I think, for Woodville to win. I think they do, but that Woodville defense has to show up and has to show out and keep Gunter under 21 points. I think Gunter wins this game, though. They score over 21 points. It's going to be like 31, 21, 24, 25, something like that. But I think the biggest play in this is Woodville's defense will dictate the outcome of this game. If they can hold up and keep Gunter under 21 points or less, they win. If it's more, they lose.
I do want to point out.
I got Gunter.
And I do want to point out, and you and I have talked about this all year, and I always love when things that we talk about through the year actually happen. And we keep saying that when you're playing a team like a Gunter, a Malakoff, a Salina, you can't just be up in the fourth quarter. You got to be in control. And it looked like Wall was in control.
Look at South Lake Carroll and Longview last week, right?
Yeah. But
it's those kind of teams. You better be up by two possessions.
Well, heck, Wall was and still lost the game because it's just so hard to beat these teams. And again, for me, if Woodville's going to put, I do disagree. I think Woodville's going to have to score. I don't think either team can. I think either team can stop each other. But I think both offenses are so good at what they do, they're going to have success against almost any defense at that level. But yeah, this is one of those games. It's either going to be a Woodville upset that's really close, or Gunter gets out early. Woodville turns the ball over. The moment's too big, and Gunter ends up winning. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out. All right, Sarah Bennett back here on the state championship preview shows. We now are joined on this segment brought to you by Lazy Dog Kettle Corn, the venerable, the legend, I think in his own mind, Oregon's own Coach X. And Coach X, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. It's just been living up and down the North Coast, driving up and down the PC, whatever, H and PVD highway there in California, and living the good life with the hippies and the cowboys. I finally understood what that song meant until this summer.
It definitely is VD Highway there in California. I'm still confused, knowing your, I don't want to say political leanings, in today's world. I don't want to get you canceled by 50% of our audience, but you're not going to be very hippie-ish with your beliefs, yet you end up in what might be hippie haven.
Yeah, it's true, man. You got to go where the work is, though, dude. Like I interviewed with this girl, and she was like, "I have 3 openings," and I was like, "Yes, I know. I'm here to fill them." and then she made me leave. And I really think you overestimate our audience. I really think my political beliefs, these things I believe, would not alienate 50% of our listening audience.
No,
I don't think we bring high with the hippies in Texas, and I don't think the hippies watch football. They're killing football, like with taking cut blocks and hard hits out of the game. Those are what the hippies are doing.
Well, to be fair, I say that, I don't want our stuff to get up on, well, I guess not X anymore since Elon owns it, but I don't want anybody pearl clutching about when they hear about you going for 3 holes and such.
I mean, you got to go for all 3. I mean, that's what they got. That's what you got to do. It's just 3 possibilities. If you just get 1, I mean, you're doing good. If you get 2, that's awesome. If you get 3, then you marry them.
Well, if you get really crazy, you can go for 5 or 6.
I don't want to get into your personal life at any means, but stuff. Maybe your stuff fits in ears and noses, but not me.
Anyway, so we had Playoff Tree on, and Playoff Tree claims that y'all have made a truce and that y'all are buddies again. And in fact, he wants to hug you during the Christmas party that L4 Media is having this Saturday. But before I accept that, I want to hear it from you. Are y'all friends again?
Hell no, screw that guy. All right, he runs his mouth and he wants to say apologize and freaking sap and crap and sad and timber and pine straw. No, not even close, man. That man, in fact, I'm starting another burn pile at my house, and I'm looking to pick up a playoff tree to put on top of the burn pile, because that will go up really fast and help me out with some yard clippings and various things in my neighborhood. So yeah, playoff tree, dude, don't be lying. I hate you. I always have and I always will. And you really do, I don't understand you. So I don't even know how you could say, maybe he did say, let's make up, and I didn't understand his freaking bass voice, and I was just like, yeah, cool, man, whatever. Yeah, let's do that. So maybe that happened. Like the low talker on Seinfeld when Jerry had to wear the puffy shirt. Maybe that's what I agreed to, but no, I hate playoff tree, and I always will.
I don't have the heart to tell the tree. He talks about his upbringing down in the Angelina County in the big thicket and all, and I don't have the heart to tell him, like, dude, you're not a real tree. Like, you're plastic. I mean, you're as plastic as the boob jobs were in the 80s. I mean, I don't think he understands that. I think he thinks he's a real tree.
No, he's as much of a tree as Jamie Kennedy was a rapper in Malibu's Most Wanted.
Hey, now. Hey, I love that movie. Speaking of politics, he has went so far right on YouTube. It is so funny to watch him. Anybody just type in Jamie Kennedy's podcast. But I love that money. The funniest thing is, did you ever notice he kind of made the same movie twice with just a little bit of a different plot? One of them, he's a rich white boy rapper. The other one, he's a rich white boy hip hop dancer. Of course, that one he gets hit in the head and wakes up like 20 years later. But I always thought it was funny that they were kind of the same movie.
Yeah, the second movie you're talking about is what movie are you talking about?
Oh man, let me see. I can't think of the name of it now. You don't remember that movie where he's part of a dance crew like in 1988, and they're like real, they're hip hop and they're rap and all that, and then Kicking It Old School came out in 2007.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie at all. It's terrible.
What would you rather watch, that one or Freddy Got Fingered?
Freddy Got Fingered, because Freddy Got Fingered, it's a funny movie in that the studio asked Tom Green to make a movie, and he said no, and they said, here is as much money as you want, and he said, okay, it's going to be crap, and they're like, we don't care. And it's actually, if you've watched it enough, it's actually one of those stupid movies that has a lot of really funny wit into it. And also Rip Torn, man, he went for it. He played his part like it was like this was the most serious role. I actually have a really, really soft spot for Freddy Got Fingered.
You must have smoked a lot of dope back in the 90s.
I mean, like a couple hours ago. Oh yeah, in the 90s. Yes. Yeah. Tom Green was right in my wheelhouse as far as, my age. In fact, I think we're like the same age. And he was one of the first guys that did that true, absurd, doesn't make kind of sense humor. And I just absolutely love him.
This is true. I'll give you that.
All right. So are you going to be back on the sidelines after the probation? I mean, your terms end. Are you going to be back in Texas this year?
I like it out here filling 3 openings with hippie chicks. They're way, everybody, the hippie chicks get a bad rap, but they're into a lot of stuff, and you can go in a hut with them and man, you can come out 3 days later and be like, whoa, what happened there? So, the myth of rich waspy girls do it the best is kind of like way, like not true. Like you want to get, but then you got to listen to them talk and all that kind of stuff, so yeah, Texas is kind of where it's at because if you remove the lust from your eyes and your heart, you'll realize that women aren't all that interesting, and so you just got to get back to where there's football, and there's no football like there's Texas football anywhere in the world. It's kind of like there's no business like snow business or something, whatever the Christmas trailers say. There's snow business and show business and old business or something. And so, yes, we'll be coming back to Texas.
Speaking of hippies and another 20-year movie reference, that reminds me of the Without a Paddle when they meet the two hippie girls, the tree huggers, and they're extremely hot, but they haven't obviously shaved their legs in 6 months or so.
Yeah, you run into some of that too. You just got to pretend they're French and just go for it.
All right, before we turn our attention to the game, Grant and I always do this, and you and I did this last year where we kind of just take a step back and look at all of the state championship games between 2A and 4A, and really this year between 2A all the way up to 6A. The last couple years, it was kind of like, okay, there'll be 1 or 2 good games. Franklin, give Franklin credit, man. When they're in a state championship game, whether they're losing a heartbreaker to Canadian on a Hail Mary, basically, or beating Brock because they throw the one pass to clinch the game, or last year losing to Malakoff in a back-to-back, affair. But that's usually stands out. Then there's a lot of blowouts. To me, this year, it feels like we actually have a lot of even matchups between 2A and 4A, but also between 2A all the way up to 6A.
Yeah, which probably means there's going to be like some 40-point spreads.
Yeah.
Usually when you gear up like, oh man, this is going to be a great game, and then third quarter it's 56-7, or something like that, or the game you're like, man, this game ain't going to be nothing. Freaking Smithson Valley's got this in the bag, and then there's a nail biter they have to make a stop on 4th and 4th and 2 inches to secure the win or something like that. So I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of good games there. I'm not, because I'm not driving there to see a bunch of blowouts where you're like, well, I'm in Arlington, maybe you can go to a strip club or something like that, I guess. But I'm there to watch football. So I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of close, tight games that make you want to stay there until the fourth quarter.
All right, Coach X, let's turn our attention to one of your favorite teams in all the nation, the 3A Division II State Championship preview game. I guess this is the one time you and Playoff Tree are on the same side, Gunter versus Woodville. What are your thoughts? Roaches or Eagles? I mean, Tigers or Eagles win this one?
Sorry, let's call them what they are. It's the Roaches, and Woodville, for me, will always be the Beavers. I mean, that's just what marketing person missed out on that? Like, so many Eagles, no Beavers. And you're Woodville? Come on, Beavers eat wood in more ways than one. You gotta live with it. So we got Beavers versus the Roaches. Gunter does show you the type of dominance, how dominant you can be being a 4A school playing in 3A. I mean, they just have the blueprint. They have the blueprint for, hey, we have more kids than everybody else, but we're going to pretend like we don't. And then we're going to keep playing football, and we're just going to keep winning games. So it's, they have that going for them. And they have the pedigree, and yeah, we win the region every freaking year and this and that. Well, you know what? Like I've told you before on Sideline to Sideline, you're like the Fast and Furious movies. I was done with you after the second one. When you started going to Tokyo and then Vin Diesel didn't even want to go with you, we quit watching, and I'm proud to say that I haven't watched one since. Actually, I did, the one where the guy died and then they had him drive off to heaven and showed his brother's back of his head. I did go see that one because I was told it was really good, and then I walked out of the theater going, damn it, Vin Diesel, you got me again. This movie sucks. And that's how I feel about the Serial Roaches of Gunter. And I'm going with the Beavers all night long. It's not a bad thought in itself either. So I'm going with the Beavers to pull this out and go really hard on the Beaver, just like Ward Cleaver.
All right. All right, Terry Bennett there. Sorry, had a little bit of issue right there. We're just about ready to start Gunter versus Woodville. After that thrilling 2A Division I state championship game where Stamford gets beat by Ganado 30-28 in triple overtime, the longest overtime game in the state championship game in the history of the UIL. Of course, overtime's only been around for, 24 years now, I think. Here we've got our first 3A game of the year, 3A Division II, looking to be three-time defending state champ Gunter, 13-2, but their losses were to a 5A school and then Salina. And then you've got Woodville. They're also 13-2 in a matchup of Southeast Texas versus North Texas. This is going to be an interesting one. I've gone back and forth. I called for the upset in the pregame show. I didn't really feel good saying that. I even said that at the halftime of the last show when Grant Goodwin joined us, and he'll be joining us again halftime this game as well. For me, the first quarter is going to decide this game, at least for Woodville, not for Gunter necessarily, but Woodville's got to stay. This is their first state championship. They've never been here. Gunter, this is old hat. For Woodville, you can't let the moment be too big. We saw that a couple years ago when LBJ played Stephenville. And so, for me, the first quarter decides this game for Woodville. As we've got the scoreboard up. Now, a lot of times the scoreboard's a little bit ahead of me, so, I know most of you aren't just staring at the scoreboard. You are doing other things as you listen, but just in case sometimes it looks like the play's already happened, it's because the play's already happened. Just like right now, they've already kicked off. And good job by the UL getting the game almost started at 3 o'clock. But Woodville will have the ball first as they take the kickoff up to the 12-yard line. Great kick. Bringing it out of the end zone, too, and he only gets to the 12. So there we go again, what we're talking about. First mistake goes to Woodville. You should have kneeled that, and you take it at the 25, and you start your drive. Now you're already working behind the sticks, at least field position-wise. Luke Babin, he is one of the hottest prospects in high school football. I said it on the pregame show, kind of where Matt Schobel, the quarterback for Columbus, was about 2 years ago. That's Luke Babin getting a lot of looks from Division I teams. So here we go, first down and 10. They're going to run the ball right up the middle, and Gunter's not going to have any of that. It's going to be 1 yard gain at best. Gunter in the all black with the blue outlines. Woodville in the road home, or the road whites with the black helmets. Looking to throw. Babin on the slot slant. Going to be a first down across the 35 up to the 37. And the first big play goes for the Woodville offense as Babin hits McDaniels for a 23-yard completion. And they're reviewing the play. I don't know what they're sure they're reviewing. Not real sure what they're reviewing. Huh? Oh, they're saying if it's a fumble. But that's a catch. I'm not real sure. I mean, if anything, it's a fumble, but I don't know if there's a clear recovery. I'm not real sure. If they're saying it's a fumble, I don't know if they're going to call clear recovery because the Gunter player grabbed it but then let it drop. If they're wondering if it's an incomplete, I just don't really see how. I mean, he caught the ball, ran 2 steps, and then brought down. It'll be interesting to see what this is all about. Okay, it's a catch. I don't really understand what they were reviewing there, but they reviewed it, and it is a catch. So it's going to be first down and 10 for Woodville after the big completion. Williams up the middle, going to get about a gain of 2. Woodville has 2,000-yard runners. Dustin Barlow with 1,100 yards. Zayon Williams with 1,100 yards. Almost to the exact amount on the same yards. They're going to hand off to Williams again. This time he's not going to get much, and it's going to be third down and 6. 10:33 left. Here in the first quarter, Woodville got the ball first. They've gotten 1 first down. They're now facing their first third down of the game. Babin is going to roll, look to throw. Throwing it deep, but out of bounds, and it's going to be 4th down, and you assume Woodville's going to punt right here. So this is the first game of the 11-mans that we didn't have a change of possession via onside kick or turnover in the first 3 plays. Again, in the 2A game last night, Munster onside kicked it. And then in this game, or last night, earlier today, Ganado got the interception on the second play of the game. So let's see what this punt's going to do. Woodville got a first down, got out of the shadow of their own end zone. It's going to be a short punt. No, actually, it takes a really good roll for Woodville. Not quite like the Munster roll last night on those 2 punts, but still, they flip the field position and they get Gunter where they're going to have to start inside their 20-yard line. 0-0 is the score. Woodville Gunter Class 3A Division II State Championship. Glad you're watching us here. Preston Tarpley, his first year as a starter, as a senior, 24 touchdowns on the year, 5 interceptions. Throwing it way more, Walker Overman last year, he could throw, but they ran around a lot. They run, all right, here we go. First down. Going to hand it off up the middle. Not much gain, about a 2-yard gain. And so if you don't know Gunter's offense, they're going to spread them out. They're going to option it. They're going to throw the ball. They're throwing the ball more now than they did with Walker Overman. He was more of a runner, but they'll run the option, and they'll run the triple option out of the stacks. There's right here. They're going to do a little jet pass. That's counts as a pass. Going to be down near the first down, just short of about a yard. But we do have a flag on the play. It's going to go against Gunter. But they run that triple option out of the pistol. They'll bring their slots in. They're almost like it's a wing tee, just spread out, really. Wing tee with option mechanics and concept. Holding on Gunter, so that'll be a big 10-yard step back. Repeat second down. It'll be second in about, 18? So it's second and 17 for Gunter. Scoreless. This is Gunter's first drive after Woodville got a first down, but then had to punt. Going to run the just simple dive play out of the spread, and it gets a nice gain up across the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to make it a workable, 3rd and 8. So it's 3rd down and 4, actually, a gain of 13. Pistol set, power formation, running that little end around, trying to do the option. Not going to get it, though. Woodville with great pursuit on the backside, and they're going to stop Gunter. It's going to be 4th down. Woodville with a chance to flip the field again after, remember, they had a mistake on the kickoff, should have downed it, went to the 12, but they were able to get a first down. They got a good roll on the punt. They've now flipped the field depending on where this punt goes for Gunter. Here comes the punt. It's going to be a line drive punt, returnable. Good field position for Woodville up to the 49-yard line, almost in the Gunter position before they take the snap. So, first 2 drives, Woodville got a first down. Gunter had a first down, but a penalty took it back. They weren't able to get it. They technically go 3 and out. And so far, Woodville's taking the advantage of this because the field is completely flipped, and they get the ball at the 49 to start this second drive. And more importantly, Woodville doesn't look like the moment's too big for them, at least early. They look very calm out there, running their offense. They got a big first down. The defense played well. So that's the thing we talked about. I felt like if Woodville could stay calm in the first quarter and not let the game get away from them, they have a good chance. We're in a timeout right now, commercial. That second game ran long, so it kind of discombobulated everything. We'll be back here again tonight for Columbus Malakoff, one of the most anticipated games of the state championship week. We'll be back tomorrow for the 2 4A games, Carthage versus La Vega to begin, and then Kilgore versus Salina at 3. At 3 o'clock game, intern Noe the Pro from Outdrink the Coverage will be joining me in studio. And then after that game, him and I are going to do a playoff watching party for college football, Notre Dame versus Indiana over at Outdrink the Coverage. So join us for all that. So Woodville takes back over. Second possession of the game. They have the only first down of the game between the two teams. So here goes Woodville. Ball technically at the 50. Handoff to Williams. Oh, sorry, not Williams. Let me get that number. Oh, that was Hunter on the carry for 1 yard. It's 3rd and 6 now. They had an incompletion on second down. Again, the scoreboard's going to be ahead of me, so that's why I don't really I do a little bit of like telling you what's going on, but a lot of times if you happen to be looking at the screen, you know the distance and all that before. But it's going to be 3rd and 9 as they're showing the 2nd and 9 play. Threw it incomplete. I'll say this, Gunter is starting to get pressure early on Woodville. Babin, the last 2 times he's dropped back, has had to kind of scramble and throw off that back foot. And you don't want to be throwing off that back foot against this defense. And if Gunter's defensive line keeps creating pressure, then that's going to give Woodville a lot of problems. And they're going to have to run the ball more. And so far, through 2 drives or driving at 3 quarters, it's 4 yards. So here it is on 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 9. Babin once again getting pressured, and he's going to be sacked. It's going to be 4th down. So Gunter's defense toughens up. Woodville's going to have to punt. Excuse me. But they still have the field position battle here with another good punt. It's going to be fair caught at the 19-yard line. So once again, Gunter will start inside their own 20-yard line. 6:59 left here in the first quarter. We're scoreless here as these two teams are kind of like two boxers. They're just kind of figuring each other out, not wanting to make the first big mistake. We'll take a real quick break here on this Class 3A Division II State Championship watch party.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I ride. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and the concussions I've got, you know, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, Nero Guard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, we're back here as Gunter takes over for the second time. 0-0 is our score here, or midway through the first quarter by now, I should say. So here we go. Gunter out of that pistol. Just a simple dive handoff, and not much there. There was a little bit of a lane, but the running back kind of got tripped up by the bodies on the ground and couldn't get over them. Tell you what, Woodville is really playing that. Now they finally dropped that safety back. I was about to say, well, partly because Gunter's spreading it out. Going to be a bubble screen, going to be a big gain up to the first down and to the 30-yard line. So the first down for Gunter. Toss sweep here on first down, and it's going to be no gain. Once again, man, Woodville's defense is playing really good here very early, though. Gunter's only had a possession in 3 plays, but still, we've seen sometimes Gunter have that and it'd be 21-0 already. Keeper now by Tarpley. He's going to get across the 30 and going to be about a 5-yard gain. So it's going to be a third down here. So third down and 7, actually. I thought he got about 2 more yards. Had a little early movement there by Gunter, and they're going to flag that penalty. So 2 penalties offensively for Gunter in 2 possessions. That's very un-Gunter-like. Having a mic issue. These stands can be a little tricky at times. We're back here. The thing about, when you think about Gunter this year, man, like they don't have just the one guy. Walker Overman was such a catalyst at quarterback. And this year, it's a bevy of players. Back to pass, Tarpley has a man. That's going to be a first down. Big first down conversion there when it was 3rd down and 12. As Tarpley stood tall in the pocket, found his target, and Gunter's on the move. Pistol formation again, 1st and 10, going to bubble screen, and it's going to be dropped. Easton Overman, the brother of Walker Overman, couldn't catch that one. They're talking about their leading receiver, Carson Peacock, who tore his knee a few weeks ago. Man, Woodville right now, folks, they're playing really good defensively. They're stout right now. It's 3rd down and 9 right here with 4:21 left in the first quarter. Gunter trying to keep the ball. Tarpley looking to throw. He's being pressured, and he's going to be sacked for a big loss, and Gunter's going to have to punt again. Woodville came to play, folks. Just great containment by the ends. backers shot through on the delay blitz. Once they saw that Tarpley was kind of stuck in no man's land, great job by the linebacker of getting aggressive. Gunter's now going to have to punt another line drive punt right to the return man. He drops the ball but picks it up now. Going to get across the 30 to the 32. Helmets go flying as the hitting's hard here. So Woodville takes over for the third time in the game. Nobody has scored yet. Maybe Grant's right. Maybe this is a defensive game. So first down and 10 for Woodville, their third possession of the game. Both teams, by my count, have one first down in 2.5 possessions and another sack for Gunter. So Luke Babin now has dropped back 4 times. He's been pressured on 3 of them, sacked on 2 of them. The defensive lines right now for both teams are dominating at the point of attack. So 2nd and 14 now, and all of a sudden Woodville keeps going backwards on their last couple possessions. They're losing that field of position battle. Going to try to set up a screen right here to the wide receiver. He's going to make a good catch in traffic and get up for about a little bit close, I think about to the original line of scrimmage. So I think it's going to be about 3rd and 11. And now McDaniel is down for Woodville. That would be a big one if he can't come back. So he walks off, but you can tell he took a shot. Looks more like one of those like in the moment pain that you just got to kind of walk out for a minute. So it'll be 3rd down and 9. Third down and 9. Babin once again pressured and sacked. So Woodville's going to punt again, and again, they're starting to lose that field position battle as Gunter now, even with the nice roll by the punt, will still start with their best starting field position of the game outside their own 35 after starting the first 2 drives inside the 15-yard line. We want to thank everybody for joining us here. Again, game 1 went long with the triple overtime. Chase Burnett in the chat. He says he thinks Gunter wins 35-14, but he hopes not. We got a ton of Hey, Omar, who's from Anahuac, as he rightfully says, they beat Woodville. So here's Gunter now with another possession. First play, not a lot. I'm telling you, man, these 2 defensive lines for these 2 teams are eating right now. We do appreciate you joining us, Omar. So 2nd down and 9 with a minute left in a scoreless first quarter. I got to admit, I'm a little surprised by that from both sides. Handoff, not much there as when I say a mountain of a man, number 54 for Woodville is massive. And he made a great open field shoestring tackle. He looks like he's banged up a little bit. All right, here we go. 3rd down and 6 for Gunter. Tarpley back to pass over the middle, has a man wide open and he drops it. Oh, we're talking about might have been a touchdown and he drops the pass. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is just terrible right there. Bad luck. This isn't normal Gunter football we're seeing, and I think Woodville has a lot to do with that. As another punt, it's going to be hit off the ground. Is that going to be on the? Is it going to be a fumble? Oh, 23 goes back and recovers it, but that almost was a disaster. Woodville is playing with fire with their special teams. They've got to figure that out. You had the bad decision to run the kickoff out to begin the game. You had a punter or the punt returner drop it, and then you had it right here where I don't think he actually touched it, but it was close. I don't think the ball actually touched him, but good job by 23 of getting on it just to be safe. So 1st down and 10 for Woodville now. Babin going to hand off. And not much there, man. These two defenses are just laying the wood right now. As playoff True would be happy to hear that. So that's going to end the first quarter. Scoreless 0-0 as Woodville survives the early onslaught of the first time in a state championship game. In fact, their defense is playing great. We'll be right back for 2nd quarter action. Woodville Gunter, state championship football on L4 Media.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, and the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, we are back here to start the 2nd quarter. 2nd down and 9 for Woodville. Need to get a good gain here, as they do to the outside, and a gain of about. What are they going to say? Wait, is there a flag? Oh, we have an injury. Zayon Williams hurt for Woodville, the leading rusher for the Eagles. This second quarter is being brought to you by Edie's Meat Market in Amarillo. Go online, edesmeats.com. They're a custom meat market located in Amarillo, Texas. They have multiple locations. And if you're in Amarillo and you're needing some great gift ideas, you're a secret Santa, Edie's Meat is your perfect place. You can get quality, tasty, flavorful gifts out. And man, I'll tell you what, as I get older, I like food for gifts. You can tell. Look at me. I love food for gifts. You can get a smoked turkey. You can get spiral sliced hams. You can get prime ribs. They have it all. Stop by their multiple locations or give them a call at 806-352-4242. And tell them that Sideline to Sideline sent you. And if you're not in Amarillo, normally, and you can get things shipped to you, but right now with it being Christmas, they're wanting to do the emphasis on the local stuff with the gift boxes and such. But you can order stuff from them online, so please go to them. Grant Goodwin and I, we were already talking about it earlier. We're going to definitely go order it. If you're outside of Amarillo, just go to their website and then hit the shop for shipping only, and you can see all the great selections that they have. You can get everything from beef sticks, you can get steak boxes, you can get jerky hot boxes, seasoning, chili mix. They have it all, and we thank them for being a sponsor here on the state championships. As we come out of the timeout injury, 3rd and 3, and Gunter once again is going to force a 4th down after getting a nice gain on 2nd down. You know, I kind of wonder if Woodville's kind of shy to go into the, try to pass right now, because Babin's been sacked twice, hit 4 times, and 5 dropbacks. This is one of those that with 4th and 2, if Woodville has a fake dialed up, do you run it now? They're going to punt it. It's going to be a line drive punt that's going to be taken at the 40. Chance for a good return here for Gunter, and it's a big one. Inside to the 30, down to the 28, and the first big play goes to the Gunter Tigers. Wow. Easton Overman with the huge return, and you kind of saw that coming with those line drive punts. So with 10:47 left here in the second quarter, we're still scoreless, but Gunter has the best chance of either team here so far. But again, very impressed with how Woodville has played this so far. Looking at the stats, Gunter has 44 yards. Woodville has 30. Woodville's thrown for 28, but they've already been sacked twice. Actually, they've been sacked 3 times, really. And then Woodville has a sack on Gunter. Both defensive lines have been playing great right now. Remember tonight, Malakoff versus Columbus. If this game doesn't run long, pregame I think it's at 6:05, kickoff's at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow, Carthage versus La Vega. Kilgore versus Salina. I've got like 17 messages going right now. I mean, it's been a long day, a fun day, but man, this is about that time, especially doing it by myself for the most part. This is about that time where I kind of start spacing out at times. So we come out of the timeout, 10:47 left. So let's see what Gunter does now, as they have the best starting position of either team today by far. At the 29 of Woodville, they'll set up in that vaunted Gunter spread pistol option formation, really more of the straight spread right now, with 2 wides to the far left, tight to the right with an H-back. They're going to hand off and run towards that power set. It's going to be a nice game, but good pursuit from Woodville. And that's what both of these teams do so well. You know, we talk about the defensive lines are playing great, and they are, but they're not doing it necessarily with power. Both sides are just so quick at the point of attack. Right there, he looked like he had 5 or 6 yards, but he couldn't get through it. So here we go now. Big gain right up the middle. Going to be a first down to the 20-yard line. And also, as you can tell on the scoreboard, Gunter has just scored a touchdown. We'll see how they do it here in a second. So Gunter takes the first lead of the game, 6-0, pending the extra point. Tarpley back to pass. He's going to throw it to the middle and touchdown. There's that touchdown. Beautiful concept play right there as Tarpley hit Cole Hardpole for the 18-yard touchdown. The extra point is good. And just like that, folks, with 10:06 left in the first half, Gunter takes the first lead of the game for either team, first points of the game, 7-0. We'll take a break and we'll be right back here on Sideline to Sideline, the Class 3A Division II State Championship Watching Party. Terry it back here. Gunter scores first for either team in the second quarter, 7-0, as Hardpole with the touchdown reception from Preston Tarpley, who's now 4 for 6 for 42 yards and a touchdown. And, you know, you saw right there what happened. Gunter started this drive with 2 solid runs, a 3-yard gain, but then an 8-yard gain. And you saw Woodville kind of soften up a little bit. And they tried to bring those linebackers down, thinking, okay, Gunter's going to keep running. And Gunter was able to find the middle of the field. That's where you got to have a run game to help you get pass protection. I mean, Gunter's still only averaging 2.8 yards a carry, but that's because of a sack and a couple of no plays. Bodie has come in and 6 carries, 28 yards for 4.7, while Woodville has yet to get anything going on the ground. 10 carries, 2 yards. Now, to be fair, -12 is from the 3 sacks. So that has hurt too. But I mean, even without that, Zayon Williams only has 1 carry. He's banged up. Let's hope he's back. Barlow, 2 carries. Hunter, 4 carries. The longest play for them on the ground is 6 yards. So Woodville's going to have to figure out this Gunter defense. And that's, of course, way easier said than done. That's why they're going for their 3rd straight state championship. So Gunter will be kicking off here. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. The 2,400 people. We've hit 2,000 for every game so far. That is awesome, man. I can't remember our numbers last year. Intern Noe the Pro were asking me. I know we had a couple games that hit it over 1,500, but man, to see 2,400 in here right now at 3 p.m. on a Friday, love it. Woodville with the kick. Man, once again, he runs out and he's shy of the 20. I know Woodville, you think you've got some abilities for big plays and special teams, but man, you cannot Do that. By the way, I don't think people know this enough. Everybody keeps talking about, well, Woodville's never made it to state. Yes, Woodville had never got past the second round. As many of the tough teams that they've had over the last couple of years, they were always getting in a second round terrible matchups with the Newtons and teams like that of the world. So for Woodville, the first time they get past the second round, they get to a state championship game. And I don't think Woodville's going to be going away anytime soon, too. I think they've got something building there, folks. But right now, they're down 7-0, 1st and 10. Going to do a little dump-off pass. Has a man. Going to be a nice gain up across the first down. And Woodville gets out of the shadow of their own end zone. And that's their second first down of the game. I think they're going to give him the first down. I see now he might have went out of bounds just short. Let's see what they see. Yeah, they're going to say 2nd and 1. So they haven't quite got in with this Gunter defense. That's not assured to get that 1 yard. They're going to try to hand off, and they're not going to get that 1 yard. In fact, it's going to be a loss of 2. Dude, Gunter is just eating on that defensive line right now. And all of a sudden, Woodville looked like they were set for the first down. It's now going to be 3rd down and 2. And if they don't make this first down, then Gunter's getting the ball right back. And this is that danger area right now when you play a team like Gunter. You're down 7-0. It's 3rd and 3, and you wake up, and all of a sudden you're down 14-0, and then it's 21-0, and then the game's over. So 3rd down and 3 here for Woodville. They're going to go spread power set though, right up the middle. Gonna be a first down and a little bit more. That's been the best run that they've had all game. And I don't know if it didn't come at the most important time to this juncture. So 1st down and 10. Again, this quarter is being brought to you by Edie's Custom Meats in Amarillo. If you are in the Amarillo area and you still need some Christmas gift ideas, please check them out. You can get meat boxes, steak boxes. You can get gift baskets, seasoning, chili mixes. They have it all. And here's the infamous son. Babin being pressured. He's going to escape and actually going to get up in about 4 yards as he makes something out of nothing. But I'm going to say it once again, that Gunter defensive line is really giving Woodville's offensive line a hard time. Second down and 6 now. Babin going to throw that bubble, and that's really all they can do right now in the passing game. Going to be about a gain of 2 because they just don't have enough time. That the offensive line is just getting beat so bad. Even in those quick bubbles, there's a guy getting to Babin. Third and 4 here, another big one for the Woodville offense. Five seconds left on the play clock. Let's see if they're going to call a timeout. Yeah, they're going to call a timeout. Woodville wants to talk this over with 7:20 left in the first quarter. I don't blame them here. It feels right now every third down is going to be huge when you're behind Gunter because, again, Gunter can flip a 1-score game into a 2-score game into a 3-score game into it's the end of the game if you do not convert on those important third downs. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here out of the timeout. Woodville facing a 3rd and 4 with 7:20 left here in the first half. 7-0 Gunter leads in what's been a pretty fast-moving game so far. I know the UL likes that because they try to get them back on schedule as much as possible. And now we're going to have a flag. Man, if that's against Woodville coming out of the timeout, and it is, that's a killer right there, man. They hadn't even got set up, and the right tackle just moved. So 3rd down and 9 now. Huge penalty. Can Woodville dig out of it? They better hurry. The play clock's down to 4 again, down to 3, and they're going to get the snap off. Pressure coming. He's going to throw it deep down the middle of the field, and the ball's going to be incomplete. That pressure again, just too much. Babin got hit as he threw. And it's going to be 4th down and 9. Gunter will get the ball back. Ooh, that was a little bit of contact early. I don't have a problem with that not being called, though. There wasn't that much. There was a little contact, but it wasn't enough. Babin on the back end almost got sandwiched. Good job by those two. Gunter not hitting him late. Fair catch called for Gunter, and they'll take over at the 38-yard line with 7:06 left here in the second quarter. I'm like a boxer now. I need the water to the face and the ice thing to get the swelling down. We've been here since 9 this morning, 10 this morning, actually streaming, but I've been in the studio since 5 this morning, getting everything ready for today and then tomorrow. But boy, I love this. This is my favorite week of the year to broadcast. I love just sitting here talking football and watching football with all the folks that are in here with us right now, and we do appreciate it. So 1st down and 10 for Gunter. They're going to run off the left side, get a nice gain, and you're starting to see Gunter get 4 and 5 yards now. They started to kind of fill out this Woodville line. They're kind of sucking them inside and then bouncing it outside. And the last couple times they've done that, the ends have kind of crashed in and not set the edge. And here's another one where he didn't set the edge, and it's going to be near the 1st down depending on the spot, but it's going to at least be 3rd and short for Gunter. 6:40 left here in the first half. Now we get at halftime. We'll have Grant Goodwin for sure joining us. Brett Swinney of NETSN might join us if he's available. And Grant and I will talk the first half. We'll also kind of post-game the last game because we don't really, especially the way this went, we didn't really have time. So 1st down and 10. Body gets the ball for about a 2-yard gain. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, if you want to chat, just leave a comment in that whatever app or browser or website you're using, and I will see it. It pops up on our studio browser. Looking to throw, Tarpley going deep down the field. Ball's going to be intercepted. No, dropped. Oh, my goodness. A dropped interception right there. Zero coverage right there, and Gunter tried to hit him big. Tarpley just kind of underthrew it. He had his guy open. If he leads him, it's a touchdown. But now it's going to be 3rd down and 8, and Woodville needs a stop right here. Tarpley in the spread, looking to throw, being pressured, trying to evade the big man, and he can't. Wow. The 340-pounder Dwayne Coing with the sack. That dude is big and he can move. So a punt now coming up. It's going to go out of bounds. So Woodville will take over just outside their 25. Dwayne Koenig with the play of the state championships. The big man would not let Preston Tarpley escape. So 5:28 left in this half. Woodville needs to get something offensively. Isaiah Stenback doing part of the broadcast with the great Ted Emmerich. And I got to admit, Isaiah, I've got this earbud here. I'm listening to the game so I can hear what they're saying. And he's doing a fun job. He's a really fun color commentator. I know he works on the Dallas YouTube channel, the Dallas Cowboys Network. So here we go, Woodville, 1st and 10 now, trying to find some running room. He's going to get across the line of scrimmage. Looks like a gain of about 2.5 or 3, which, I mean, honestly, that's been one of their best runs of the game so far. Again, so far, the longest run has been 6. Woodville is averaging 0.9 yards a run right now. Gunter's only averaging 2.2, but they've had the big pass play. Babbitt looking to throw down the middle of the field. There's going to be a lot of contact and a flag. That's going to be pass interference. So it is pass interference. So it's going to be 1st down and 10 for Woodville. Sorry, I was texting Grant trying to get everything ready for the halftime show. Man, every time Woodville does something good, they shoot themselves in the foot with a flag, or the next play it'll be a bad play at the line of scrimmage, and you just can't do that when you're playing a team like Gunter. You can't do that when you're playing a good team, but especially a team like Gunter. I mean, they eat on that kind. Did it again. It's going to be 1st and 20. Another illegal procedure. All right. Sorry. Again, trying to get Grant combobulated. So it's 1st and 20 now, and you get the 1st down, and you got to feel good after the pass interference, and you proceeded to lose 10 yards before running another play, and you run the 1st down, and it's a 2-yard gain, and you're still 18 yards away. So 2nd down and 19, 4:15 left, and again the game clock's to 6, and they are just now getting out of the huddle. They're going to get the snap off, a handoff, and it's going to be 3rd and 18. I mean, it feels like Woodville's already given up on this drive. So 3rd down and 18 for Woodville, a promising first down on the pass interference. They proceeded to go backwards, looking to throw the ball. It's going to be caught near the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down and short now after the completion. So 4th down and 1. And they're going to call a timeout on 4th and 1. 3:28 left here in the first half. Pivotal play coming up if Woodville can get the first down or not. We'll keep it here. Again, we'll be back here for the last game of the night. Coach X is in the with Grant, I think, at the game, or at least near him. Hear them barking at each other. All right, here we go. So 4th down and 1, 3:28 left here in the first half. Woodville down 7-0. You get a first down. If nothing else, you have the potential to run out the half and try to score late. If you don't make it here, Gunter's going to have great field position and plenty of time to try to make this a 2-score game. I like the call to go for it, though. Here we go. Wishbone formation. They're going to try to toss sweep, and it's nowhere there. Woodville gives up the ball. Gunter with a great chance to add to their 7-0 lead. Wow. Play calling has been interesting here in the first half. So Gunter will start this drive right at the 50 at the middle of the Cowboys star, leading 7-0. Got plenty of time, 3 timeouts. They're going to hand off to Bodie. He's going to get about 1.5 yards, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. Koenig with another tackle. He's having himself a game for Woodville. Handoff now. Bodie trying to break it outside now. Cut it inside. Just a gain of about 1. So 3rd and 7 for Gunter. 2:34 left here in the first half. Looking to throw. Now going to scramble. Not going to get the first down. Going to be about 3 yards short. Let's see what Gunter does now. Will they try to go for it, or will they punt and put Woodville back? Gunner's going to punt. I totally get that. The way they've been playing, you punt it here. You get 3 and out on Woodville. You get the ball back. There's 2:24 left. Gunter has all 3 of their timeouts, and nothing that Woodville's done offensively makes you think that they're going to do anything with the ball right now. Special teams has been an issue, and he's going to be thrown down at about the 15. So Woodville has the ball with 2:15 left. Down 7-0 at their own 15. A precarious situation here. You got to be smart if you're Woodville. You want to be aggressive. You want to try to score before the end of the half. But first, you got to get outside the shadow of your own goal. Woodville ISD football in the chat. Welcome. If that's a real one. You get some weird names on some of these fake link ones. First play for Woodville is about a 3-yard gain. Right now, everybody's letting the clock run, and for Woodville, that's what you kind of at this point, man. Just get in at half, down 7-0. That in of itself is a win when you're playing Gunter. And Woodville's defense has been there. You need to get in at half and make some adjustments offensively. The offensive line is just getting dominated right now. It's not even fair at this point. Handoff now for about a 2-yard gain. Even when they have a little bit of a lane, the linebackers and the safeties fill those so quick. Pursuit to the football is just amazing. Gunter's going to take a timeout now because it's 3rd down and you can get the ball back. Woodville's punting has been decent, but I mean, we've already seen one great return by Gunter on the punt. So you stop them here, you get another 1st down. I mean, you get another timeout. Actually, it was Woodville that took the timeout. That's interesting. Now the clock's running. So they're saying nobody took a timeout. Okay. So here we go. 3rd down and 5 for Woodville. 1st down. We'll get them to the half probably, and it's going to be a 1st down. Longest rush of the game so far for Woodville, and it came at the right time. He needed 5, and he got about 5 1/4 of an inch. So Woodville's taking their time here with 36 seconds left. Looks like they're just going to be content to run this half, the 1st half out and get to the locker room. Another no gain. Probably actually technically a loss, but they usually will give them a little bit of that forward momentum right there. 13 seconds left. Grant Gooden will be joining me here in a minute as we'll end the half.
Terrible.
All right, we're joined now at the half with Grant Goodwin at the stadium. And Grant, you called it, man. You said you thought this was going to be a defensive battle, and so far that's exactly what it's been. Nope, does Grant not hear me? Uh-oh, Grant doesn't hear me, I don't think. Mr. Goodwin. All right, we'll go back to him. We'll try him back here in a second as we'll take a quick break, and then we come back. We'll have Grant Goodwin here.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player at any age at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
All right, we're going to come out of that commercial because now we do have Grant Goodwin. So let me pull him back up. All right, Grant, you called it, buddy.
Yes,
You
sir.
said this was going to be a defensive battle. I thought there'd be more offense, but man, the defensive lines have come to eat, especially Gunner's. What's your thought on that first half?
Yeah, Gunter's defensive line is absolutely dominating that offensive line of Woodville. Woodville's defense, obviously, you can all see it as you're watching it, but keeping them in the ball game, Gunner's got out of some third, but for the most part, Woodville defensively is playing just a great game, and it goes without saying that Gunner's defense right now is dominating.
And to be honest, some of the play calling has been a little interesting for Woodville. We talked about, we wondered, would the moment be too big? And I don't think it is, but I think some of the decision making has been kind of harried.
Well, that defense that Woodville's going up against, I don't know if there's any perfect play calls for it. I do think, maybe getting the ball on the edges quickly, those little slip screens or something might be somewhat effective. But I'll tell you, it comes down to this. Woodville just, when it counts, is getting some false starts. It sets them back 5, and really 5 yards is like 15 yards right now for that Woodville offense against this Gunter defense. And then they've got to take advantage of the opportunities and make some plays. That dropped interception midway through the second quarter that could have really helped Woodville. That play has got to be made if you're going to pull the upset.
One good part for Woodville is number 54, Dwayne Coing, man. You look at him and he's a huge dude. He's 340 pounds. And you and I always joke, is he football big or is he football fat? He's football big. He's big, but he can move.
Yeah, he is a load. And, number 26, their running back, Dustin Barlow, he's a load as well. So, they've got the size to move people on both sides of the ball. They just got to start moving. Right. I think right now they're just getting out quick up front.
All right, let's post game the last game. What a second half in overtime. Stanford versus Ganado. I think we both said, hey, that's a one possession game. I think one of us even said it's 28-27, and it almost was that. What were your thoughts on that second half?
Man, that second half, it was this nip and tuck all the way. Again, the defense is much like this game. The defense is kind of stole the show there, right? They stepped up at the right time on both sides of the ball. You thought maybe if Ganado was going to lose this, it might be the special teams that lost it for them, but luckily for Ganado, special teams didn't end up, playing a huge factor in it.
I thought it was interesting. I know what they were trying to do, but Stanford, trying to do a little Philly special, took the game out of the guy who had kind of kept them in the game in their quarterback. I thought that was an interesting call at the end of the game.
Yeah, I kind of thought I'm with you. I kind of thought that Duran should have the ball in his hands when the game really, really mattered, when it came down on the line.
All right, man. Well, we will be talking to you at the next halftime, Malakoff versus Columbus. Until then, enjoy the second half.
Yeah, y'all too.
All right, man. All right, that's Grant Goodwin at the game. Right now, we're going to take an extended break. I'm actually just going to put the 10-minute timer up. High school long half times. I'm here for, every game. So this is my one chance during the game to kind of get out, go to the restroom, fill up the water bottle and all that. So we'll be right back here in 10 minutes of this great state championship matchup. Gunter 7, Woodville 0 at half. Terry back here as we're still at the half. Gunter up 7-0 over Woodville here in the Class 3A Division II state championship game. Again tonight, 7 o'clock will be the kickoff of the 3A Division I state championship game. That's going to be a one. What now? If everything ends on time, which it's on pace to for the second game, the third game, I think I have pregame set. Let me check, actually. I want to make sure I have this right. But I have pregame, I think, set for 6:05. Yep, 6:05 tonight for that Malakoff Columbus kickoff at 7 p.m. That's going to be a humdinger of a game. So far, man, a thrilling end to the first game, or a thrilling back and forth, really, with the first game last night. Triple overtime in the second game this morning, and now halftime. It's a one-possession game. So far, we have yet to have any game in 11-man be more than a one-possession game. We still got a few more minutes left, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll come right back here on this 3A Division II state championship watching party.
Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back. All right, we are back here. Still waiting for halftime, so we'll be right back.
Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
You know, I'm still doing stunts. You know, in the concussions I've got, and I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, you know, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, all right? On one, ready? Go 13! Coming up, go 13!
All right, everybody back here as we're almost ready to start the second half of this Class 3A Division II showdown. I want to thank everybody that's been here for us for the first game, the second game, and hopefully for the third game. Talking with Grant at halftime on the air and off just about, you know, just how tough it is for Woodville right now, and for Gunter too. But Gunter has had some success. I mean, they've got the only points on the board, but you know, even as much as they've struggled at times, you know, Bodie has 11 carries for 43 yards. Preston Tarpley 4 for 7 for 42 yards and the touchdown. Harpool 1 catch, 18 yards and a touchdown. For Woodville, Luke Babbins 5 of 8 for 56 yards. They've ran 21 attempts for 22 yards. Now you could say, well, yeah, but you know, that's negative 8 yards on sacks. You're right, but the others haven't been great either. Hunter 11 carries, 19 yards. Barlow 4 carries, 8 yards. So it's not just the sacks; it's the fact that Gunter's defensive line is just absolutely dominating. And again, Woodville's defense is playing darn good as well. Gunter will receive the ball to begin the second half. And you just feel that this game gets out of hand if it goes to 2 scores. I mean, I'm not knowing if I'm not sure if Woodville can score at all from what we've seen unless they have a big play break. And they have that ability. You know, all it takes is a wide receiver getting behind the defense and Luke Babbin's arm. But, you know, they've got to find time for him. Coach X wanted me to say that this game is summed up in 2 words: boring and no scoring. That's 3 words, but still. The name of Grant's sex tape. We can no comment on that one. So we're halfway through the broadcast day as we're at halftime, or basically the start of the third quarter. And then, of course, again tonight, 7 p.m. we have Maybank versus Columbus, and then tomorrow, Carthage versus La Vega at 11 a.m. kickoff, 10:20 or 10:05. I think is going to be the pregame. I do the pregame by how long the segments I did with Coach X and Grant, and it just depends on what time it is. You know how long that goes. So I think it's going to be around 10:05. And then Salina versus Kilgore, and intern Noe the Pro from Outdrank the Coverage will be in studio with me for that game. And then we'll also be doing a college football watch party tomorrow night. Indiana versus Notre Dame. So intern Noe and I will stay over and flip it to the Outdrank the Coverage part of the channel. Woodville's average time of possession with the ball was 1:59. 5 plays, 3 plays, 3 plays, 6 plays, 5 plays, 4 plays. So Isaiah Standback, I was saying earlier, he's enjoying the broadcast. Again, I have an earbud in so I can hear what's going on. He just talked about they needed to throw the ball down the field more, and he said, every time they throw it, good things happen, either a catch or a penalty. Yeah, but the problem is there's been no pass protection. That's why they haven't been able to go down the field. All right. Here we go. Woodville's kicking off to begin the second half. All right, let's see if special teams will play a part, as it's going to be a line drive kickoff. He has a lane up the middle. Gunter's going to open the second half if there's no flags, with a touchdown. And just like that, the Gunter Tigers have put more points on the board. Mark that down as worst thing that could happen for Woodville. $96 yards, and just like that, Gunter takes a 2-score lead with 11:46 left here in the fourth quarter. It's 14-0. And at this point, if you're Woodville, you're going to have to try to throw the ball down the field. I get that the line has struggled and you haven't had a lot of time, but this overly conservative offense just isn't going to get it done. Mitchell Gage goes 96 yards. Hey, maybe this will be like the Giants Ravens Super Bowl of 2000, when the Giants returned a kick for a touchdown and then the Ravens immediately returned the very next kick for a touchdown. They're talking about Gage Mitchell running track in college. He's committed to a Ouachita Baptist. So 11:46 left. Now Gunter will be kicking off to Woodville. Here comes the kick. Fair catch, so the ball will go out to the 25. So let's see what Woodville's going to do here now. I mean, you got to be aggressive, yes, but you just can't go like stupid and then end up giving the ball right back to Gunter, because as bad as it is to be down 2 scores, you could be down 3 scores before we're at the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. They're going to throw the ball deep here, has a man, and it's going to be incomplete. Would have been a tough catch. It hit his hands, but he kind of got turned around by where the ball went. Babin's getting a lot of looks from colleges, and you can see a lot of the tools that are there. But one of the things I have noticed is, and he's just a sophomore when I'm saying this, but he floats the ball a little bit. Babin going to keep it now, and he's got a nice run room. Going to get a first down and more up to the 40-yard line. They're actually going to mark him down to 35. So first down and 10 for Woodville, a very much needed first down. Looking to throw, being pressured. Babin escapes, but he's not going to be able to escape the sack one, and he gets sacked all the way back to the 30. So like what we talked about earlier, every time Woodville offensively take a step forward, they take 2 steps back. That's killer right there, man. Babin is shaking up. Gunter's had 7 tackle for losses. Yeah, Babin's still down. We'll take a quick break right here. Oh, no, he's getting up. We'll go ahead and stay here. The sophomore, a future so bright for Woodville. Like I said, this might be their first time past the second round and their first time to the state championship game, but I think Woodville's here to stay, folks. So 2nd and 18, the backup quarterback's going to come in, who was actually the starting quarterback and then moved to a wide receiver when Babin started to show his potential. Backup quarterback's going to get around the edge and get near the first down and at least get them into a workable third down, as that's Toller, the backup quarterback. And again, he was the starting quarterback last year, and then when Babin, the sophomore this year, showed what he could do, he volunteered to move out to wide receiver. Babin's back in the game now. So 3rd and 8, so a very makeable third down right here. Design draw coming up, but there's nothing there, and it's going to be 4th down. And they're going to have to punt. So 4th down and 9, and Woodville will be punting with 10:20 left here in the third quarter. We've had a long punt return and a kickoff return for a touchdown for Gunter here already in this game. Special teams has definitely went their way. This return will go up to the 30-yard line. So with 9:59 left here in the third quarter, Gunter's first time to actually play offense in the second half, because remember, they returned the opening kick of the second half up for 96 yards. They lead 14-0. We'll be right back. All right, Terry, been back here. Trying to see if anybody in the chat's actually in the chat or if it's all fake. It looks like it's all fake. Well, Marilyn Samuel said happy birthday. I'm not sure who that is. So Woodville had a couple good things happen there, but since then they, again, it's always one good step, one bad step. Still in a commercial break. Been a long commercial break for a couple of these. So 9:59 left, 14-0 Gunter. You kind of feel like if they go down and score here, as I always used to say when I was broadcasting, pull out the nails, get out the board, and gonna finish it off. Putting the nails into the coffin. So here we go. Gunter with 3 sets to the left. Going to run a bubble screen. Has a little bit of a room. Going to be knocked out of bounds, but another 4-yard gain. You're starting to see Gunter's offense get 3 and 4 yard gains. 3 and 4 yard gains. So 2nd down and 6. Tarpley on the keeper, and it's going to be no gain. Depending on the spot, maybe a gain of about a foot. Either way, it's going to be 3rd down, and Woodville's defense feels like they're playing for the Woodville lives right now on this drive, especially if you can get a 3 and out. Looking to throw that bubble out to the right side. Got blockers, going to get the 1st down. So 1st down and 10 now for Gunter. Looking to throw a little play action. Going to throw it. Mel has a man wide open. Down to the 20. Down to the 10. Touchdown, Gunter. Beautiful, beautiful concept of that play. They had ran the bubble. They ran the bubble. Then they pumped the bubble and go. And Woodville bit. And just like that, from 7-0 at the beginning of the second half to 21-0 with still 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. That is just a beautiful play design right there. Great way to set the table and then clean the table, as my old coach used to say. And the extra point is good. So with 8:57 left in the game, it was 7-0 at half. It's already now 21-0 Gunter, as they're about one drive away from putting this one on cruise. All right, we'll take a quick break.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room, and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, or any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easy to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. In the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
This has been a state championship week of big plays so far. Shiner, even though they lost, had 4 big plays. Ganado had a couple big plays, and then Gunter in the second half, a 96-yard kickoff return, and then a 52-yard touchdown pass. They now lead 21-0 as they're kicking off here. And that ball is going to go into the end zone, so Woodville will take back over at the 25-yard line, down 21-0, and now you're in that desperation mode, and you're going to have to do some things that maybe you've been uncomfortable doing in this game if you're going to have any type of success. So here we go. Woodville going to take over 1st and 10, down by 3 touchdowns. Two wide side, out wide on each side. Throwing the hitch, and that's going to be incomplete. And wow, the physicality of Gunter's defense is impressive, folks, as he hit him so hard. Legally hard, right through the numbers on the shoulder, man. Drove him textbook football right there. Second down and 10. Babin going to try to quick throw. Ball's going to be caught for about a 3-yard gain. Gunter has a reputation of playing on that edge. Sometimes late hits can get a little cocky, can talk some smack. But one thing they do is schematically they play great disciplined football. They don't make a lot of mistakes, especially on defense. They play their assignments. They're aggressive when they need to be. They have good football instincts. Empty set now, 3rd and 7. Babin trying to break out. We're going to have a hold. This is going to come back. Are they going to say a late hit too? There's going to be a hold on Woodville. There might be a late hit coming up, or a. This might be penalty on both sides. We know we have a hold on Woodville. I think the line judge is going to say a personal foul on Gunter. Okay. No foul for late hit, so it's just going to be a hold on Woodville. I was going to say it was a hard hit, but he was not out of bounds. He was a good step and a half inbounds. Let's see if Gunter will back him up or just have him. Well, you can't have him punt because it was a first down. So 3rd and 17 now. They're just going to try to run a draw play and then punt. So 4th and 16, 7:50 left, third quarter. This game has quickly got out of hand. And it's funny, I thought it was going to be the first quarter that Woodville would have to weather that storm. It turned out to be the third quarter. Bad snap. The punt's going to go. I mean, the snap's going to go in the end zone. He's able to get the punt off, though. It's only going to go out to the 35-yard line. Gunter now firmly in control here. So Gunter will take over at the 35-yard line. Great job by the punter after the snap goes off, able to get the punt off, and it's only a 9-yard punt, but we haven't even hit the halfway point of the third quarter. It was 7-0 to begin the second half. A 96-yard touchdown, 3 and out, and then a big 52-yard touchdown, and now this, and they're going to have a trick play. Flea flicker, going to be intercepted. Woodville. Gunter got a little aggressive right there. Trying to go for the home run with trickery, and Woodville with a big interception. A little bit of signs of life right there. The only negative is you have to start at your own 5, but the biggest positive is you turn Gunter back when Gunter was ready to go for the knockout punch. And I like the trickery by Gunter. You've got Woodville on their heels. You know, some people say, why do that? You're in control, but you've got them on your heels, and maybe you catch them. Trying to run the ball, and Barlow's got nowhere. Look, at some point, Woodville's got to go. We've got to throw it. Woodville with an injury. We'll take a timeout here.
Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room, help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases.
All right, he's off the field, so we're coming back to play. 7 minutes left. 2nd down and 9. Woodville has the ball at their own 6-yard line. Woodville throwing the ball deep, has a man. It's going to be incomplete. Mitchell Gage on the coverage right there. Nice throw. Everything was done well by everybody there. Toller ran a pretty good route. You'd like to see him make a little bit more play of the ball, maybe stop. And Mitchell Gage just stays on him, and the ball actually hits Mitchell Gage's helmet. That's where you would like your receiver, a more experienced receiver, would have planted that foot in the ground and stopped and let the defender run through him, and that'd have been an easy pass interference. So 3rd down and 9 here now for Woodville with the ball at their own 6-yard line. Babin again, going to throw the ball deep to Toller, and it's going to be incomplete. Oh, so 6:40 left, third quarter, 4th and 9. Toller tried to split the safeties, and he actually did a pretty good job. Babin just laid it up too far down the field, but boy, he's got an arm. Haven't really seen a velocity in his throws, but he throws it deep down the field. Line drive punt going to be right through the legs of the Gunter return man, and actually going to roll across the 50 to the 48-yard line. Gunter going for the three-peat, and they were talking about just what they've done over the last 18 years as they've become one of the most dominant programs of all classes. Gunter now handing off, body breaks from inside to outside and gets a decent game, but a good job by the Woodville defender of running him down as well. Another handoff. 6 minutes. Gunners, I'm not saying they're in just run down the clock mode, but they're definitely in the let's take some time off as we move down the field. Third down and 4, though, for Gunter. Kind of feel like they're probably in 4-down territory right here. Tarpley being pressured, going to have to throw the ball away. So once again, Woodville's defense makes the stand. Let's see if Gunter's going to go for it. I mean, at this point, I think you just punt it. Just punt it and let your defense play position, because Woodville hasn't shown that they can even string together 2 or 3 first downs in a drive. So Gunter about to punt the ball. Deep punt. Let's see if Woodville just lets it hang down, and they do, but it takes a beautiful punter's bounce. Great English inside the 1 yard line. I think they're going to give it right at the 1. And so Woodville, who hasn't been able to do anything all game, they're now going to have to start at their own 1 yard line, down 21-0 after that 46-yard punt. So Woodville down by 3 touchdowns, 5 minutes left in a very slow moving third quarter. They're in danger of safety territory here. Babin looking to throw. He's going to throw out. His wide receiver's running a go route. Babin threw a hitch, and it's going to be incomplete, out of bounds. This offense has just not been together all game long. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10. Babbitt 6 of 14. He hadn't even thrown for over 60 yards. Now they're just going to hand it off again, and nothing there. Boy, they have just been so dominant. So 3rd down and 9 at the 1 yard line. Throwing the ball is going to be caught for a first down outside the 15 to the 20 yard line. Man, you talking about getting a first down when you need it right there as the Eagles finally show some sign of life offensively. Going back to the ground game with nothing there. I just don't know at this point what's the point of running the ball. You're down 3 touchdowns. It's taken you a minute and a half to get 1 first down. You're going to have some big plays at some point if you want to get in this, keep in this game. Man, trying to throw a screen and both receivers went to block. So 3rd down and 9. Clock moving it south of 3:20. Babin looking to throw, looking. Now he's got a man, throws it, but throws it out of bounds. It's going to be 4th down. So they got a first down. That's a positive, but then they proceeded to immediately go 3 downs and out. Bad snap, but this time the punter's able to corral it. A line drive punt that will take a huge Woodville bounce inside the 30-yard line. So with 3:01, man, this 3rd quarter will not end, folks. Like, we were on pace to be done with this game on time, and now it looks like we're going to be late for the 7 o'clock game as well. But what a game that one's going to be. Malakoff versus Columbus. Been waiting all day. This always felt like if there was the first, and I know I picked the upset. Sometimes you just swing for the fences on that kind of stuff. But this felt like if there was the first blowout of the 5 or 6 games that we were covering, and maybe the only blowout, I still think La Vega Carthage, of course, this felt like it could happen. I honestly didn't realize Woodville's defense would play as good as they have. Remember, Gunter's had a special teams touchdown and 1 big pass, and that's it. But Woodville feels like they're starting to kind of get ground down now, as on the first play, Gunter goes about 6 on the carry. 2:50 left in the 3rd quarter. Seven yards on first down, so it's 2nd and 3. Handoff again. Going to be near the first down, just short, so it'll be about 3rd and a half. Dwayne Koenig with another tackle. He's had a beast of a game for Woodville, and he's trying to fire up the team. You're on the county auction line. How can I help you?
Is that what you're doing now?
I'm getting there, man. This 3rd quarter will not die.
I mean, this has been a defensive battle. I knew that, from seeing Woodville, I knew their defense could get after it. But this Gunter defense, man, they are up to the challenge. And I mean, that kickoff return there to start the half, that just really kind of did a number on Woodville. They kind of came out, I think they were, you come out, you're down a touchdown, and then that happens, and you haven't done anything on offense really at all. They've had a couple of injuries. The Williams kid going down early. kind of thins them out at tailback. He also plays some defense too, I believe, and so that didn't help as well.
Yeah, but I don't know if Woodville.
I don't know that would have mattered, but I'm just
Yeah.
it doesn't help the situation.
Game's getting a little pissy now. It kind of started about 2 drives ago, and now the pushing and shoving. Both of these teams kind of have that rep for they don't mind pushing and shoving. But I gotta tell you, man, the offense, and this is partly or a lot of it goes to Gunter, but some of the play calling on Woodville's offense has just been uber conservative.
Yeah, they've handed the ball off a lot when they've had success throwing the ball down the field. And I think the commentators on air even said it. Babin's had success, threw a good percentage complete the first half and with some yardage, and they've kind of just continued to run it. And I don't know if, Hunter's been really explosive in the playoffs. I got to call him a couple of times. But he was like the third back.
Yeah.
He's also a really good defensive end. And so when you've got him, when he's having to play a lot more, that affects both sides, right? You're not used to playing. He's used to kind of coming in and spot running. Now he's kind of been the feature back because, unfortunately, Barlow has been kind of non-factor. I mean, they've just bottled him up, and he has not gotten going. He's dangerous when he runs through that first tackle.
Yeah,
and then he gets the speed going, but they haven't let him get there, and that's just they're replaying that play there. Yeah, it's going to be offsetting there probably, and hopefully they'll get that cleaned up real quick. Man, the game earlier though, Terry, the end of a classic. I felt bad for Ganeto's kicker there for a while. If he was going to have to live that game down, I'm glad they were able to come back and win that, because just for that one single point for that young man had 2 field goals. Probably the first one would have probably won it, because then it wouldn't have been a deal at the end. But then he had the chance to redeem himself and still missed it. But what a great game! I mean,
great game. And to be fair to the kicker, I don't think they did him a service on that second field goal, because he missed the first field goal. He hooked it left, and yet they ran the play right before the field goal, the second one, and they had to line up on the left. So that
was a bad angle. It really was. Yeah. You're right.
It's just kind of a brain fart, I think. I don't know if the coaches had told them, hey, let's make sure we end up right side of the field. But yeah, great game. I'm happy for Ganeto. I said this after they won. I tend to I don't really root for teams, but I always want the team that hasn't ever won a state championship to win. Same thing with Woodville. The crazy thing about Woodville is I don't think people realize this isn't just, hey, this is their first time to state. They had never made it past the second round. Now, they've made the playoffs a bunch over the last 8 years, and so you kind of think, oh, yeah, they've probably been to the region quarters or the third round at least once. Nope, this was the first time, and so I was really hoping they would play better. But, yeah, that Stanford Ganeto, man, I have to ask you, I get it. I know we all remember the Eagles and the Patriots and the Phillies special, but I just don't like taking the ball out of the quarterback that got you there's hand on the final play with an end around and trying to throw it back to him.
That was a little, it was a little tricky. I mean, that's one you maybe call if you have the ball first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's risky. I mean, you've done what you've done all season long, and then you kind of get razzle dazzle there to end the game. I don't know. It's if it works, we're talking about how genius it was
exactly
to pull out one of those plays. But since it didn't, now it's like, well, should we have just ran our regular stuff? I don't know. I think the team that played the best won the game, and that's what I think that if you were to look at the way the game went, I mean, Ganeto, they deserved to win that game. Not that Stanford didn't, but I think they played better. They were the better team, the majority. They had the missed field goal to put them up 2 scores late. They gave up the touchdown to tie. They had the field goal. They worked it down there to win the game. They had that. I mean, they were 1 or 2 plays away from breaking the game open in the middle of it.
I was actually surprised that they settled to, I thought the field goal would be okay. If we have to, we'll kick the field goal. But with about 40 seconds left, they decided, hey, we're going to try. I thought they would at least run the ball 1 or 2 more times, because it felt like they were about to score a touchdown there.
Well, it wasn't like they had. I mean, the kicker had just hooked one, right? And you give it right back to him. I mean, yeah, you have confidence in your guy, but that's a tough spot to be in. Now he's already thinking about the one he missed before, and then to try to win it for the state championship. And then, like you said, to put him on the left side, at least put him in the middle. I mean, nothing else. Give him an extra point. Look, right down the pipe. You know, even if it's hard to hook it that far when you're that close. So it would have been tougher if he's straight ahead. But man, shout out to both teams. I mean, it was just an incredible.
Oh, Woodville just dodged a huge bullet. Special teams. Woodville's been terrible at special teams, and they just dodged a bullet and dropped it, but it goes out of bounds.
Ooh. Yeah,
You know how I know Gunter knows that they're in control? It was 4th and 1 at the 50, and they didn't go for it because they know they don't need to go for it.
Yeah, they're content in that what their defense is doing right now. I mean, I would too. I mean, defense for them has been great offense. They've been playing the field position game, and the defense is. I think I was looking at the drive summaries that they were showing earlier after the first half, and Woodville had like all their drives were like 2 minutes or less.
Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, they haven't been able to sustain anything, and I think this is just a shock to them because they've over the last 4 to 5 weeks they've been playing so well, and today it's just not going their way.
Well, I think what you're seeing here, and then we have a nice little run finally for Woodville gets a first down. You're seeing a team in Woodville that's young, that's got a ton of athletic ability, have good speed, good size, but Gunter's just a better football team. They're more disciplined inside their scheme, and I don't mean like penalty discipline. I mean they're playing assignment football and they're playing it better. Woodville, it feels like sometimes a couple of their guys are trying to play a little hero ball, and you can't do that against Gunter. Gunter, you've got to play smart. You've got to play within yourself. You've got to know when to try to be aggressive. As the end of the third quarter here. Gunter up 21-0. So I think this is a great learning experience for Woodville to learn and watch how a football team plays and not just a bunch of athletes playing football.
Well, and two, Hunter didn't even play tailback until the playoffs.
Yes.
So I mean, he's still new at the position, and he kind of got thrown in there this game, with Williams going out. And so I mean, he's done a great job of being a great athlete and being able to out-athlete, like you mentioned, a lot of teams, and just an incredible player. But, when you got somebody that's playing their gaps and staying at home and doing what they're supposed to, and they make the tackle on you, it makes it harder. You've got to really – it's a lot harder for someone that's not used to playing the position. And he's not used to reading holes and things like that. He's used to seeing, like, he's got room and he just runs by you or runs over you.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I mean, and Luke Babin, I'll admit, I heard about all these offers and everything. He's a sophomore, but I'm just talking about. I was expecting a little bit more of a polished QB, but again, you see the tools are there. And again, I think for Woodville, this is a great learning experience. It sucks that you have to learn by losing, but they've done the UIL. One thing I like the way they do every year, they kind of have a little coaches package, and this year it is like how do you process losing? And you had Billy Mathis, you had Cedar Hill head coach. Capel head coach, you had a bunch of them, and one of them was like, you have to use this as a learning experience. And I think for Woodville, this is one of those. I don't think that's bad to say. I think they're just happy to be there, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, second round was the farthest they've ever been. So I mean, this is a history-making year, and I covered the Joaquin Rams also in the playoffs. We covered all 5 games. I was at 4 of them. And it was sort of the same thing. Like, they just caught fire at the right time, right? I mean, you get the right matchups. You get somebody you can overpower. And that's why I knew Ganado was going to be good, because Joaquin had been just doing what they wanted to on offense all playoff long. And all of a sudden, they're causing turnovers. They're plugging the gaps. And I'm like, oh, this Ganado team's well coached, and they're going to be good. And then, of course, you had the two the players. You had Burris and you had Ullman. They just kind of did what they want. There was a couple of plays that they didn't connect in that game, and it could have been a lot worse. And so that's what you see. You see Joaquin, I think they'll be disappointed for a little bit, but look back on it, it's a year to remember. And I think it's the same thing with Woodville here. I mean, they're going to be disappointed they didn't win today, but I think you look back on it here in over time, and they're going to see, wow, we did something by far that no one's ever done. And
you know what this Woodville team just popped in my head. Sorry to cut you off, but they remind me now. They're not as stacked with young guys as this team was, but they do have Luke Babin, a sophomore quarterback. They do have some key. But Mineola, that year that they made the surprise run with everybody was a sophomore, and oddly enough, they didn't make it back the next year, but then they made it back the third year in one state. This Woodville team kind of reminds me of them.
Yeah, I mean they've got some great pieces. I mean, you talk about Babin. I think he's still developing as a quarterback. He's got some little offers, but he's only a sophomore. I mean, he's got years to develop, and they haven't really, the games that I saw him play, he didn't have to do a whole lot. I mean, he had these guys behind him were just running over folks and running by people, and he just kind of managed, and he threw when he needed to. And so I think as he develops, then he'll be more of a factor in the offense. And I think that's part of what you're seeing here, that what they've done all year is they've kind of ran, and then passed when they needed to.
Yeah.
I think as he develops and is able to read defenses better and know where to go and grow as a quarterback, then they'll probably add more of that in their system so that they still have the run game, but they have a little more of that passing attack to go with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe with Babin next year, if they're going to maybe try to open this offense up a little bit more, start throwing the ball down the field a little bit more. I mean, he has a beautiful deep ball. I was talking about that. I guess the one thing I was expecting just a little bit more of, because usually when you have a young quarterback like this, the arm is going to wow you, and then he's got to figure everything else out. He has a wonderful deep ball, but they're not using his velocity. They're not running any in routes and slants and across the middle and letting him just put the power behind the ball and put it down the field.
Yeah, I think it just goes to it. They just kind of they're going with their strength, and what it's been has been the run game. And I think you got to have that other dimension, and it's only, you can only be so good as your weakest link. So if they're not able to get that in the offense and use it, it kind of makes Gunter's just stacking the line right now, and they're saying, okay, Babin, you go ahead, beat us over the top. We're not gonna get beat by Barlow. We're not gonna get beat by Mr. Hunter. Williams is out, so we're gonna force the sophomore to beat us. And Woodville's almost like they're not even trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
they're still just running it.
Yeah, I mean, the couple drives ago, they did try to throw it deep a couple times. I even thought that as Mitchell Gage now. Oh, no, sorry, Tarpley with the keeper. I thought he handed off. I even thought it was weird how when they threw the ball twice down the field, they threw it to the same guy. So they made him run a 50-yard sprint and then turn around and run a 50-yard sprint. And the thing that sucks was on the second pass, the pass was there, and Toller almost split the defense, but you could just tell he was gassed.
Yeah, Toller's a talented player. He was him and the was it number 4? Is it McDaniel on the outside? I believe those two guys that were the guys that they targeted the most when they did throw the ball. And so, but I mean, he saved the game earlier. The ball got snapped over his head, Terry, by about 10 yards.
Yep.
And what a heads up play that was. I mean, that could have just gone all kinds of crazy sideways wrong. And I mean, he saved 2 points for sure, maybe 7, and then got a punt away, and they ended up stopping them. The defense did. So, I mean, Toller's one of those guys that he just kind of does whatever. He even had to come in for a play at quarterback when Babin went down. He's a great talent. They just got to get him the ball more. They don't use him enough to me. And they've gone to him a few times, but just not enough.
Yep. As Gunter is already with 8:51 left. They're not going to get the first down here, but they're already in. Let's not snap the ball till 30 seconds have ran down on the game clock. And I do respect that. Gunter, I think Gunter. I think you're seeing the respect Gunter has and the coaching staff for Woodville, because it doesn't feel like Gunter has put the pedal to the metal like they normally would right here, and I think they could if they wanted to. And I think they just realize, like, Woodville, Woodville's not going to score on their own, so we're going to just play the clock out and play our defense and get out of here.
Yeah, smart play. I mean, why make any mistakes? Just, your defense is playing well. The punting thing has been interesting. It's interesting how he likes to line drive it. There was one punt that it almost bounced off of some players. It was so low.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just the best they have. Crazy thing is their kickoff guy has a cannon for a leg. He's been putting it in the end zone. Let him punt.
Oh, no, it's just interesting. Usually you don't see that, and I think it must be the way he punts, because he's done it every time. He's kicked low.
Well, think about it. I mean, they play on a synthetic field. Pretty much every opponent they do is. Here at State, of course, it is. And if you can get that line drive punt down to where you're always hitting the nose of the ball into the ground, it's going to do that English spin that it's done. But yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The camera even kind of shook like they thought it was going to be a hit off the player and be a fumble. But hey, it's given the return people a hard time. We've seen one fumble and a couple other mishandles.
Yeah, probably because they're not used to seeing that, right? You're used to seeing the punt that's high and, you go up and fair catch it, or, even on those line drives, it's so low. It's not like they can catch it and run, a good return because the coverage isn't down there. It's usually they're having to field it on a hop. And like you said, that football is not round.
Exactly.
It isn't round ball. It's not round, and it can take all kinds of crazy, funky bounces. And usually you don't want to, as a returner, whether it's a punt or a kickoff returner, you don't want to field it off the hop, because usually it's not going to be a hop to you. You may get lucky a time or two, but it's going to catch up to you eventually, and it's going to hop, and it's going to bounce off your leg or bounce off any part of you. And usually it's not a good thing. Usually there's a lot of guys in the other colored jersey that are a lot closer to the ball than your guys are. So I think it's an interesting strategy. I've never really seen it. I've watched a lot of football, and I don't know if I've ever seen someone. I know I've seen the Australian style where they run around the end and kind of let the coverage get down there and punt it, but just a straight line drive punting strategy, I don't know that I've ever seen it.
So with y'all's football season's been over in ESTN, tell us what y'all are doing basketball wise this year.
Well, right now I've got a few weeks off. I don't have another game. We're going to go down and do the Tenaha tournament down in Tenaha. We're covering the Timpson location. It's a huge tournament. If you've never heard of the Tenaha tournament, it's a 3A and below tournament. I mean, I believe there's anywhere between 10 to 12 teams that are ranked on the girls and guys side, a 16-team field, and over 3/4 of the field is in the top 25 of their classification. So it's a huge tournament, great competition. And we're going to get to do the Timpson location. All those games will be live on our YouTube channel. I'm going down and doing a couple days with the guys down there, and so that'll be fun. Our next broadcast besides that, for me, I think is going to be in the American Airlines Center on Friday, January 3rd. The Brook Hill Guard are going to travel up and take on Dallas Christian, two private schools. And they're going to do the game in the Mavs Center. We did it last year. This will be the second time. It's a really fun thing. I bring the kids and we take a crew down there, and we'll do both games, and then we'll go eat and go back and enjoy the Mavs game that evening. So it's a pretty good experience. And we're mainly, at least I'm mainly doing the Brook Hills team this year. Both teams are ranked in the top 10 for TAPS 5A. And so, and then of course we'll have the Timpsons, the St. Augustines, and those guys. Larry's got a bunch of those games, and those teams are highly ranked. And then also the Center Rough Riders. I don't know if any other guys are doing much this year. We've done so much football. It's kind of like basketball season. We're kind of just going to sail in, but then we'll have baseball and softball coming up after that. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited to have a little bit of time off myself to get to spend some time with the family and get some, earn some time later, because I know I'll be busy in January and February covering those basketball games. But it's been a lot of fun. Our show in our second season, the the Beast from the East show has been successful. We've it's grown by just leaps and bounds this year, and so I'm excited to get. We'll wrap that up next week. We'll have a kind of a end of the season kind of wrap up of everything that's happened. But overall, it's been a successful football season, and it went by quickly. I know that.
It always does, man. It gets quicker and quicker. I've got to call some basketball to AAC, and it's a fun spot to call them. They treat you real good there, and we were there for, this was back when Marcus Smart was playing for Flower Mound Marcus, and we were there covering them, and we covered the Washburn kid at South Grand Prairie. Yeah, we broadcast both of their playoff runs, and we got to go to the AAC for a doubleheader, and that was just a blast down there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, both teams are good. Coach Hubbard's got a lot of talent on his team this year. I know, as you know, that you and Jeremy go way back, and should be a good season. They're looking to try to get some hardware. They've got a good shot to make it to the Final Four, 4 taps. And as we see the interception there on screen.
Yeah. That was the first time you got to see the velocity, and you can see the arm that he has. And I mean, right there, he's just trying to thread the needle. It was a tip drill and an interception, and Gunter is going to win their third straight state championship.
But yeah, so they got a good team this year, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, the guys are going to be good too. So both teams have a chance to do some damage. It's a different district this year with taps. You never know how it's going to land, and so they've got. About half the district is in Austin. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we're making one road trip to Austin, I believe the 10th of January for both teams. And so I think the girls only have one away game that's in Austin. That somehow they ended up with their other away was Tyler Grace. So that'll be a close one. So very, very favorable schedule, but they do a 1 round through, and then they do a district tournament. So we'll be covering the district tournament once the.
Oh, they have a district tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't. Since it's so far, doing the home and home thing, it just doesn't really work real well. When we travel back and forth only once, so they'll do the tournament. Top 2 teams are automatically in the playoffs, and then your seeding is based on the tournament. So you have to you're in the semis of the tournament if you're in the top 2. Which would guarantee you top 4. So but the other teams can work their way up into it if they win. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm excited. Just Brook Hill's one of our main schools that we cover, and they love everything that we're doing. And so it's gonna be a lot of fun. The app has been successful this year. Thanks for plugging that, by the way. We've had it's growing leaps and bounds, and we've got more things coming next year. Some things we've been working on. So. But I mean, honestly, I may have an opinion because it's my app, but that I helped design. But I think it's the best app out there as far as for high school sports. I mean, there's some other ones that are bigger statewide, but as far as it's going to have what you need right there in the palm of your hand, it's easy to use, and it's the functionality of it's pretty well thought out. We've put a lot of time and development in it, so.
You don't have dummy scores and people dropping racial epithets, or
I mean, I guess maybe keeping it in the East Texas area. And I'm sure at some point if it grows to be, you're still going to have that. But I mean, as far as functionality, being able to find things, and there's some other apps that do similar. But I think it's very easy, and it has a lot of things so it's like a hidden gem of what we do. So honestly, I think some people still don't know about it. And it continues to grow every year, and we've had more and more people updating scores and keeping those scores up to date. I hadn't have to go do them all like last year. Last year I was having to go in and do a lot. We got a lot of guys that love the app and make sure it stays up to date, and it takes a lot of time to do that stuff. But I really do think it's something that the East Texas people they really like, and it's going to continue to grow. So.
No, I agree with you. You probably have the best app, and again, part of it is like you said, you are region based, and so you have a little less teams, and so a little bit more control. But still, it's the app I go to when we're trying to find East Texas scores when we're on the road. As Woodville has the ball, 6:43 left. Now is when they'll probably start flinging it all over the place. No, they're going to run it. Thank you.
Yeah, that not going to go very far with it though.
I'm actually, I was thinking about this earlier because that overtime game happened, and so now we're 6 minutes left. It's a 4-score game. You just got to wonder, like, is there ever a time where you'd see the UIL going, okay, look, it's 28-0. Y'all ain't coming back. Let's just run this clock and get out so we can get the third game on time.
I mean, TAPS does it. They have a mercy rule. So, I mean, I don't know. State championship, I mean, it's the experience for the kids. Maybe you get some other guys in that haven't played.
Yeah, I mean, in 6-man, they have that. And I know for part of the reason 6-man is because if a team is better, you could literally get a 200 to 40 score, but I mean, they do have it in 6-man as well.
Is there ever a close game in 6-man? I don't follow 6-man.
I can't remember the last time there was a close one. If Brett Lee's still listening, I can't remember the last time there was a close 6-man state championship game. I get excited for them, and then 20 minutes into the first one, I'm just back to working or getting ready the pregame show, not even paying attention. It's just. We've had this discussion. I was talking with Brady Carney for the Munster pregame show, and off the air we were just talking about it. And I said, hey, do you ever see a day where they take 6-man, 2A, and maybe 3A and just put it over in Frisco and have them play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then have 4A, 5A, and 6A play Thursday, Friday, Saturday at AT&T, and you have that. And he was like, I've never thought about that. He goes, but I don't really think that a lot of 2A coaches would be that opposed to it. Because, I mean, yeah, it's awesome to play at AT&T, but it's also awesome to play in Frisco Star if you've never been there. Yeah,
it's a cool atmosphere there. We did a game 2 or 3 years ago when Chapel Hill and LBJ played in the semis. It's a cool place. Joaquin traveled all the way up there to play their game there. I don't know. I kind of like it because you can go one place and get to see them all. After I did it a couple of years there with my father-in-law, but when my son gets old enough to go, I'd like to start going back again and just spend the day. And I think there's a lot of families and dads, grandparents that do that kind of stuff, that they just go and they spend the whole week there basically and get to see a lot of good football. So I don't know. I kind of like it all being in one spot, just for the simple fact that you can just go. If you're a high school football fan, you don't have to, you couldn't be in two places.
Yeah, but I contend, we're hardcore fans, and I know there are hardcore fans. But I contend that the third party fan, it ain't that many. It isn't like if they split it, like it would be like, oh my God, we're gonna have another interception. It's not like it's gonna be if they split it, they're gonna be like, my God, where did all the attendance go? I contend that it would be a better experience because one of the things. Again, Coach Carney and I have talked about, Coach Chad Worrell and I talked about with Brock. Now, theirs was a little unique situation because it was down in Houston, but talking about like just how, okay, you win state. It's like, yeah, you win state. Here's your trophy. Now get off the field. We got to go. If you put them and you split them, you get 2 games on a Thursday, 2 games on a Friday, 2 games on a Saturday. Then the kids get to actually experience the moment. And it's not just, hey, you won, now move. Like in 86, I was there when Jefferson won state and we won it. And, they won it at College Station beating Cuero. And I can remember being there for a good 2 hours, man, just on the field, soaking it up. Same thing in 90 when Marshall won it at the Astrodome. Man, we were there. Well, of course, it was awesome because it was ice and snowing outside, so everybody kind of had to stay in. But you were able to experience it. You weren't pushed off the field. I like it in one spot. I just think you could do it better if you put it in 2 spots.
Yeah, I mean, I can see some points to that. I think it's more of the teams that would prefer it that way. If you're a media person, and now you've got to go choose, you might, if you're a 2A, 3A, 1A even, are you going to get as much media coverage then? Like someone that can go sit and cover all week long. Now they've got to choose. Well, I've got to go. Well, I've got to choose between the 3A game or the 6A game. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Again, I don't know that many third-party media people that actually cover all of them. I mean, we don't. I cover 2A, 3A, and 4A. Honestly, unless Marshall was in it in 5A or there was an intriguing matchup, I don't usually watch the 5A and 6As. I mean, they'll be on in the background, or I'll have them on my laptop. And also, to be honest, and this isn't a knock on the UIL, but 10 years ago, you could get a media pass for all of them. Now, you have to be almost tied to a game, a team, or a region. So it's not like many people are getting to be there for all 6 games.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that too, because I think we get tied in as almost like a radio that doesn't have a game, and which is only one media pass.
That's us. I mean, we only had. Now, I didn't need it because I prefer doing these, and even before I was doing these watch parties, when we were just doing audio only, it takes a lot to put these shows together, especially back when I was doing it with audio only, and I was trying to get as many people. I'd have an hour and a half long pregame, so I have to be here anyway. But like sideline to sideline, we're a 2-man crew, and we could only get one podcast pass. And I'm not saying that as a knock or positive or negative. I'm just making the point. I don't think it's like it was even 10 years ago, where you would have like Matt Diggs go up there and just sit there for every game. And I used to do that. We used to go up, 2019 was the last time I went, because again, 2020 COVID, but also it just got easier to do pre-games here. But yeah, you don't have that third party media guy that's just there for every game, unless it's like the Dallas Morning News, but I don't even think they're there for the small games unless it's Gunter or Salina.
Yeah. I think if we eventually, and we've talked about, having a news part on the site. I think if you have some of that, then you could qualify and get some more passes. But they do go look, because I mean, I had an intern, he works for me every once in a while, and he was like, "Hey, can you get me a pass?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going, but I'll see what I can do." And they went to the point where he wasn't on the website, so they wouldn't credential him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they went and looked. He said, "Hey, they shipped me the link," and like, "Hey, your website, he's not on there." Well, he's not officially on there. He just does some stuff for me. And they wouldn't credential him because he wasn't on the website.
Yep.
I mean, it's not just like they hand. You're right on. I'm learning that stuff as new into this. When we did the game last year, so obviously we got to have a good amount of people. If you're doing the game, then you can have a ton of people. But when you're not, then it's hard. And so, I mean, I could probably have gotten it for just gone and done a game, and then we could have stayed the rest of the day or whatever. Because once you're in, I think it's pretty much you're in. But yeah, I don't know. And that's one of the reasons why we've talked about doing some other stuff on the site, just to give us that extra, things on the side and ways to be able to cover. But it looks like we're gonna take one more knee here. That's gonna be it.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and end this stream now, because we got to reset and see when the next game's going to start, because we're going to be here for the Columbus Malakoff game. I hope you want to join me for
that. That one's going to – I'm looking forward to that one. I'm – Malik, we've been having this discussion, Terry, and I don't know how about you've listened to our debate. We debate with the professor all the time about Malakoff, and he is dead set on claiming them for DFW, and he likes to claim everybody. You know how that is. And they're an East Texas team. Malakoff is East Texas.
Okay, I'm an East Texan. I'm from Marshall. I never have thought of Malakoff as an East Texas team. I don't think of them as a DFW team. I think they're in that. We used to joke about it when I first started working in broadcasting. I worked at a Canton radio station, and we covered Canton, we covered Van, we covered Wills Point, and we covered that. And we used to call that the Gaza Strip, because it really wasn't DFW, but it really wasn't East Texas either. And I kind of feel that way about Malakoff. I don't really know if it's DFW. But I don't really consider it East Texas. I kind of consider it Central South. I don't know. It's in a weird spot, but it doesn't feel like East Texas to me.
It is, and it's just fun to argue back and forth. But
it is, especially with him.
Malakoff, we had, I think Brandon went and did an article and interviewed over there, and they consider themselves East Texas. He asked them.
Some do. Now, some do that. We've had that. We went to Malakoff Grandview, I guess, in 2018, and it was in Malakoff. I did a really good Mexican restaurant. And we had that conversation. Diggs was there, and we were talking with Malakoff people. And there was a lot of people that said, yeah, I feel like we're East Texas. But there was also a lot of people going, I feel like we're whatever. And really, that was the more prevalent, like, we're whatever. And, I kind of like that they're not really tagged to either side. I kind of like that ambiguity. But Diggs just wants to claim he's one of those that
he ranks Longview in his poll for North, like his DFW poll. He's like, well, they're in our district. I can't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't.
Really. I agree with that. I've always hated like how Dallas Morning News would not rank a team that's in a DFW district just because they're not in a DFW district. If you're in the same district, to me, you can be ranked on both sides. Same thing if y'all wanted to rank anybody, like if y'all wanted to put Rockwall in y'all's 6A rankings because they play Longview, I would totally think that that's justified. Yeah. Now I also see the other way, but for me, I actually agree with Diggs on that one. I like, if you're gonna cover one team in the district, cover the whole district.
Well, we talk about the district, but doesn't mean we think Rockwall should be included in our East Texas poll. I don't think that, because then you'd have like all these DFW teams, and it makes it not even a, because there's only one East Texas team over there. So most of the time, well, I guess you have Legacy there too in the 6A group, but it was just Legacy, and then Longview's now in there. But I don't know. It's fun to have the debate. My point was, if Malakoff was 2-10, you wouldn't be claiming them for DFW. You would say they're East Texas. But since they're going for 32 wins in a row, well, yeah, of course you want to claim them for your area. I mean, that's like, hey, how about Athens or Kern, or like any of those teams in that county? Like, you don't claim any of those guys, but yeah, Malakoff, they're number one in the state, whatever. Of course you're going to claim them, right? I mean, that's why I get in a hard time. We claim all the teams, even if they're having trouble or they're struggling, we still claim them.
I thought he did claim Athens as part of that. I thought in one of his arguments, and some of the things he talks about is right. Like, whether we think it or not, like if you go to the government websites and stuff that do regional stuff, they do tend to put Malakoff in what they call the DFW area.
Yeah.
But to be fair, dude, in 60 years, it's all going to be one area anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I told him. Used to it was like, well, you can't pick up them with the antenna. I'm like, well, now you can just stream it. So if they want to stream, that's what me and Kyle were saying. They want to stream Kyle on KLTV. They can just go online and stream him. They don't have to pick up antenna service. I mean, how many folks use your antenna anymore? Not many. I mean,
that's a good point. I don't know anybody that has a regular over-the-air antenna unless it's an HD antenna.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think the storylines, to me, Terry, just in closing, are one of the best storylines of any of the games that we have. You have Grayson Rigdon like trying to hit the perfect 4-for-4 state titles versus the undefeated trying to go 32-0 Mike Jones led Malakoff Tigers. I think the story writes itself. Somebody's going to be disappointed at the end. I hate that it's one of these teams, but I think this game is going to be electric.
I think it's crazy because of the first two games, how great they were. I think this will still be maybe the best game of all of state, but definitely the best game in the 2 to 3 to 4A. And hopefully you're going to join us on. By the way, if you're going to flip over with us, it was supposed to start at 6:05, the pregame. We're going to start the pregame at 6:15 because they're not as behind as they were earlier, but they are still behind. They're still doing the trophy presentations and all that, but we will be over on that stream here at 6:15. Until then, he's Brett. I'm Terry. This has been the Class 3A Division II state champion Gunter, third one in a row in shutout, 28-0. We'll see you.